Oh, it's not playing.
Oh.
The track has been muted.
Oh, there it is.
Welcome to the show. This is my show. Thanks for tuning in. Here it comes again.
Hello.
Hi.
Today I have Stephen Mashburn on the podcast.
That's me.
What is your age and what do you currently do for a living?
I'm 32 years old. Currently, my main form of income is I work for GE Transportation. I used to inspect parts for wheels that go on 3-story tall mining trucks, but now I actually build the computers that run them.
That's different.
Yeah. And I also do graphic design and stuff like that.
For the company?
No. For just a side.
Just the side.
Yeah.
For local bands and local venues.
No, I also do bands out of the state and
outside.
stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. And I can also do brochures and menus and all sorts of...
Do you get many of those gigs?
No.
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 So we need to get you to
Yeah.
We need to get you out
GOTD
there.
Designs. Yeah.
get you out there.
Yeah, www.facebook.com.
Shout out. Okay. Let's see here. One thing I wanted to ask that you mentioned to me recently was your diet. What is your diet like right now? Are you still carnivoring for the most part?
For the most part, yeah. On the weekends, I kind of falter a little bit. Like yesterday, I took the family out to Waffle House, which is really easy for somebody who's doing carnivore because you could just literally get cheese, eggs, and bacon and sausage and a T-bone steak if you are into those kinds of things at those kinds of restaurants. I'm not. I should put that out there.
I usually don't get those kind of things at those kind of restaurants.
Exactly. But everybody else got waffles, and I was totally cool with not getting a waffle. And then the kids were like, we want a waffle. And she's like, well, do you want walnut or pecan or whatever it is? Or do you want chocolate? And I knew they had all these things. Do you want banana? And I knew they had that. And she goes, do you want peanut butter? And I was like, what? Yeah, excuse me. Can I get chocolate and peanut butter on a waffle? And she's like, yes. And I was like, well, I was going to be good today, but excuse me while I'm not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the most part, I stick to meats, cheese, eggs, no veggies. I don't eat veggies at all.
Bad for you, right?
Well, it's not bad for you, but
bad for that diet.
It's bad. It's just the beauty of the carnivore diet is its simplicity.
Sure.
Who doesn't like steak?
What about nuts?
No.
Is that part of?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No, that's more of a paleo thing.
Nuts and legumes.
Yeah. Paleo is all that stuff, but I just eat meat, cheese, eggs, and other forms of dairy.
Kind of similar.
Yeah, yeah. You stay away from processed meats.
Yeah.
Unless you can find one that's all natural, whatever. The important thing is to stay. I don't eat above 10 carbs a day. Sometimes I eat only 1 carb a day or 0.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty. I lost a lot of weight in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all water weight either.
Yeah, not all water weight.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I don't know about trying that. I don't know. I could try it, I guess. I don't know how my body how it would react to that. Because I feel like I get overheated with a lot of meat breaking down my body. My body just tends to overheat more. I don't know if that's a good thing. It's like working out and your body's getting overheated and you're sweating and...
I sweat a lot.
Maybe that's part of it.
Whenever I'm doing my classes, I'm sitting there just pouring sweat. People are always like, "You're so slippery," and I'm like, "Yes."
That's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
right?
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Yeah, Muay Thai.
You're a Muay Thaier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm one of those guys, clenches and elbows and knees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I sweat profusely, and the first week is probably really difficult, actually.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's super difficult. You got the runs.
That's what I was going to ask you. How is
bad.
the poo?
The poo is non-existent. It's existent, but at the same time non-existent. Have you seen that thing on Facebook where it's you could tell your health by your poop. And like there's
Yeah,
like pellets, there's
yeah.
like toothpaste.
Yeah.
It's just like straight water. There's like no little pebblets. It's nothing. People are like, I thought you were gonna poop. I heard pee, man. And you're like, well,
It's kinda
funny
what I do.
story about that. My butthole burns.
I'm shooting out all this poo water. That's really gross.
Yeah, but after that first week, like anybody who asks me about it, I always tell them like do 21 days of it and see how you feel.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, you're really only gonna. A lot of things you don't tell a difference in unless you're doing it like at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna see or feel a noticeable difference. I wouldn't think.
Well, I mean, you see and feel noticeable difference within the first 3 days of doing that.
Really?
Yeah. I started noticing, like, you get a real strong mental clarity.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
everybody
I've
says
heard
about
that.
every diet.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, everybody says that. But, like, I got mental clarity. I got more energy.
Energy thing is great.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a lot more sluggish, especially since, like, my red meat uptake went up, like, 10 times what I was eating.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important to eat, like, really fatty portions of stuff. Like, if you're going to eat fish, it's good to eat, like, salmon because it's got a lot more fat than, say, tuna.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, eat chicken, but don't eat it as much as you eat, like, steak and stuff like that.
Okay. So for me, that's the opposite. Like if I'm eating meat, I'm eating more chicken than steak. I rarely eat steak anymore.
Yeah. Well,
It's expensive for one thing.
I shop at Kroger, man. You can get, like, insane deals
Like
on
the little
steak.
2 for 2 clearance.
Yeah. I'm about to go bad. Please buy me and eat me immediately.
Yeah,
or
I'm
you're
gonna
going
go
to
in
get
the
E.
trash
coli.
tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm brown on the other side. They flipped me over.
Right, painted me red. That's disgusting.
It's food dye.
So a minute ago when you said all natural, that made me wonder or think about what constitutes all natural. What could somebody get away by, like, or get away with by saying it's all natural? Like, you think it's all natural, but it's all natural because they lived this certain way,
Well,
not all the other things that you would normally attribute.
So I'm not, like, really educated in this, but in my personal observations, and I could be wrong, but normally when they say, like, all natural or something like that, it's usually meaning that they don't, like, inject them full of, like, a whole bunch of hormones and antibiotics and stuff like that. But then there's also, like, grass-fed where they like sit there and they, like, feed them grass, they live happily on a pasture, they get jerked off regularly. Like, I mean, it's just, that's how they lived. But
Free range.
Yeah, free range. Like,
So yeah,
this cow had
I
a
guess
name.
You could, yeah, it could be all natural and include all of that, or it could be all natural and just not have the hormones
Exactly.
and still be classified as the same.
Yeah. Which is scary, right?
Yeah. Processed. All of our processed stuff is disgusting.
All natural.
And scary.
It died of old age. And
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. I guess like some event happened. Like, well, it was a natural occurrence that this happened. The animal died, and we cut it up and ate it.
yeah, I don't think that the food industry is allowed to do that, though. I think, like, if it dies for some reason, they have to, like, discard it, and that's why you see those crazy videos.
Put it in the melter.
Well, they, like, put them in this grinder thing. It's kind of gross. Ugh.
Turns it into.
I
goo.
gag, but I like watching those videos.
That's disgusting. I can't watch any of that stuff.
Don't
Don't ever send me anything.
I won't today.
Did you have anything in mind, specific that you wanted to chat about?
No, actually, I was kind of going into this thing like kind of
Whimsical?
haphazardly.
Yes. All those things.
Yeah.
Well, how did the shows go this weekend?
Really good. Last night was a lot of fun. We were a lot tighter last night than we were Friday. But Friday was a lot of fun because, like, you know, I always enjoy playing Gas Monkey Bar and Grill because, I don't know, the sound's good there, you know, for an outdoor venue.
Mm-hmm.
And
The weather's nice and the crowd is good. That could be a really good show.
the great thing was it was so hot whenever we first got there. But, like, as the day progressed and the later it got and the closer it got to us playing, it got a lot cooler. But I'll tell you what, though, it was warm enough. I don't know if it was that or because, like, I drank a lot of water before we played. I drank a lot of water the day before, so I was hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I was playing and, like, my muscle fatigue and my right bicep was insane. I was sitting there and we were playing a song, and I like ended up like chicken winging my pick, like, please don't stop working.
It just like flies off of your string. Boink.
Yeah. And I was just sitting there like, oh,
flamenco or something.
Exactly. I'm sitting there like trying to like push myself through this, and I felt like I was like suffering.
Yeah.
Just trying to do it. Like my bicep felt like it was like balling up like a little baby fist.
That doesn't have anything to do with a diet, does it?
No.
As far as
no, because I
you don't
consume
feel
a lot
it
of
in anything
electrolytes and stuff like that. Like, you know, I take a 1-a-day vitamin, so like I'm not like vitamin deficient or anything like that. You know, which is something that you have to do in any extreme diet.
Would you take greens pills? Like
So-
I actually have some that I take every now and then.
So I did a little research on like top vitamins and stuff like that, as far as like just people's opinions and everything.
Couple with the diet.
And one of them was this superfoods vitamin, and I took that for a month, and I didn't really like it. So actually, I started taking Centrum Silver.
Okay.
It's the one for old folks.
For older
because it has
peoples.
It's more enriched in vitamins.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I take right now. I've only started taking it for a week, so
I can't really see that as a bad thing, but I'm not an expert. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I'm not either. I just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, oh, there's more? Cool.
It has all this stuff that I'm not consuming, so maybe I'll just consume it, and then it'll be okay.
Yeah, so this one has 1,000 times my daily allowed version of zinc, but this one has 10,000 for old folks. What do they need all that zinc for?
I don't know. What does zinc do?
I don't know. I just know that it covers screws sometimes, and like to look at the zinc covered screws, I'm like, that goes in my body.
Zinc plated food?
Yeah. Exactly. Mama.
Can I have more zinc cereal?
It's like iron. You know, you get like, what is it, cornflakes, and you can like take a magnet and they like follow the magnet.
Oh my god, I've not done that. What is that? Is that a thing? That's
Yeah,
a real thing?
that's a thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like,
That's metal.
yeah.
Literally. I wonder why everyone.
Literally say you eat nails for breakfast.
I wonder why everyone gets cancer.
Yeah. Hey, you know, apparently you need these things. How did cavemen get this? Did they just like find iron ore and they're just like, that looks delicious?
Yeah, sprinkle some on my meat.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it. What are the reasons behind? I mean, a preservative of some sort, or like
I have no idea.
what do you call it?
You know, better yet, I want to know
Binder.
how we know about these things. Like, how do they like look at the microscope and they're like, oh, that's vitamin A? Like, what?
Yeah, it's all made up.
Yeah, it's all all a ploy.
Unless maybe somebody found a piece of paper that just had vitamin A through Z written down, and then they were like, well, what does A and B and C and D mean?
Yeah.
It's
What is that? Guys, I've got $1 million idea. We're going to tell people that they need these molecules that no one knows what the fuck they do. And we're just going to sell them at exuberant prices.
It's it's weird to think that you could get, like, you can cut off a piece of my skin and put it on a microscope and you can look at it and then look at it closer and then even closer and then closer and closer, and then of just the protons, neutrons, electrons, and I don't know anything about any of that stuff, but we're just made of all these atoms and what is it? Quasars? Gaggle of quarks?
Before we go on into this tangent, I would like to say that I actually know that there's science behind vitamins, so I'm not just sitting here
just
going off on this, like, sounding.
Yeah, but like you said, how did we discover that?
Yeah,
how did we figure out the I don't know.
Yeah, like
structure.
Like, we create vitamin D by being under the sun. How do we know that?
Right.
Like, what?
We've calculated. You can sit in the sun for one day, and it's the same as consuming vitamin D capsules for 2 weeks. So I don't know. I mean, you get the same result, so you just figure it's vitamin D. I don't know. That's very weird.
But going back to the whole atoms and molecules thing, you know, I used to watch this show called Down the Rabbit Hole, I think is what it's called. And what blew my mind about that is, like, on an atomic level, nothing is touching each other. There's always a space. So, like, you're not actually touching this table. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. That's,
That stuff blows my mind.
That's too much.
I know. You said like.
We were talking about that at brunch earlier at the coffee shop. How me and a buddy used to talk about just random things when we were teens, and we'd get to a point where we'd start talking about space, and then it was, have you ever thought about outside of space? You know, like what's outside of outer space? You know, can you think about the end of it?
Like outside the dark matter?
Well, no, just outside of, you think of outer space as outer space.
Right.
You know, just like a ball of outer space. What's outside of that? You know, we would talk about that, and then we just get to the point where we're just shaking our heads like, no more. Hey, my head's going to explode. I can't think about it.
Well, I'll tell you what really like makes me like if I get too much into it, I physically start feeling ill. But like in my interpretation of time is that past, present, and future are all running parallel to each other and at the same time. So right now my future self is doing what my future self is doing. Right now my present self is doing what my present self is doing, and my past self is doing what my past self is doing.
Yes.
And
correct.
then and like that's a part of like you know, a multiverse theory and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
alternate dimension.
Yeah,
type
exactly. So stepping out of our space is probably just like stepping into another space.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just infinite.
That's what I think. The movie Interstellar, we were talking about that too.
Yeah.
I totally think that that's plausible. Like the black hole is just like a timeline, or you know, some sort of gateway, passageway to another dimension or another time or another something, or an access point, but we just can't navigate it. We can't survive it. It's just like there's no way you'd be able to tell either, because there's no communicating outside of it.
Yeah, didn't we just shoot something into a black hole, or something came out of it?
I think there was something recently like
Came
that.
out of it?
I don't remember the details, but I feel like it wasn't enough for me to.
I don't think we'll know until we actually raid Area 51 in September.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is. September 14th.
So they've got time to plan.
Yeah, they got time to plan.
Extensively.
Like, I mean,
I wonder how many people have Googled alien weapons and like tried to. Someone has like a blueprint,
yeah, right.
quote unquote blueprint
Yeah.
from alien technology. And
Yeah.
people are building these things to take with them. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
And
Like-
deadly.
yeah. I mean, think about it.
I wonder how that's gonna go.
I
There's
mean,
like
if it's gonna
13 people are gonna show up
I bet a lot of people are actually going to show up
just to see.
just to see.
If I was close, I would totally drive.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
to a point where I can see all of the people congregating on the side.
like,
And that will be the congregation, is the congregation outside trying to see the inner congregation, and no one shows up.
you know, like Western movies, wherever like train robbers or like just like outlaws are like sitting on the cliff with the binoculars and waiting
Yeah,
for it to
yeah,
all go.
yeah.
That would be me. Just on some
Definitely.
high area where nobody knows I'm even there, and I'm just like speculating.
Like, look at these idiots.
Everybody's about to die, guys. It's like I saw a meme where it's like it says the government won't kill 60,000 people, and it shows Daenerys from Game of Thrones. She's like, really?
I didn't see it,
Yeah, it's hilarious.
so I don't know what that means.
You've never seen Game of Thrones?
No. But anyone listening that knows.
It's the blonde chick with the dragons.
She probably killed a lot of people, is my guess.
Yeah, she killed a lot of people.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Sure. Spoiler alert. You were spoiled.
It just pissed me off. You're just sitting there at the end of it, like watching a train wreck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like Dexter, did you see that?
No,
I
but
didn't consider it a train wreck, but it could have been
yeah,
ended better.
Spoiler alert! Doesn't he become like a lumberjack or something like
It's
that?
oh
my God.
Weird.
I think the last season I watched of it was the one with John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the last one where he was like his mentor or whatever. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, was he his
Very
mentor? Whatever.
more like a nemesis.
Yeah. And he killed his girlfriend.
Mhm.
Spoiler.
It was pretty
alert.
pretty rough, dude. That was
a pretty rough season.
yeah. That was intense.
Maybe I watched the
that,
season.
That
after
scene, that was rough.
Yeah, where she's in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Man, that
Fuck,
was.
fuck, dude. That hits hard.
Yeah.
I have a bad habit of, I don't want to say it's a bad habit. I have a habit of putting myself in someone's situation. Like, how would I feel? Like
Having
exactly.
empathy?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like
You're guilty of
seriously,
having
like,
empathy?
picturing it in my head. You
Yeah.
know? Not just thinking, oh, I feel bad for that person. It's like, I would feel like this, you know.
Yeah.
Really, really hurting myself emotionally.
Especially like in a show that you're like really invested in and stuff like that. I feel really connected to those kind of characters
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I guess I kind of do the same thing. You know, kind of like in their shoes.
to an extent.
Yeah. Then you come out of it with like PTSD.
Then you cry about it and
Gotta talk to your therapist.
wipe all the tears.
I came home. My girlfriend was dead in the bathtub.
Did you call the police? No, it was on TV.
Yeah.
But
it was Dexter. I don't know if you watched that show, but last night was really hard for
you
me.
don't know me, but we're like the same person.
In that I kill serial killers.
You know? Wait, what? Not literally.
But like,
So I work in an office, and
yeah, exactly. I listen to a lot of Huey Lewis in the news.
God, such a good movie.
Dude, yeah.
What a weird movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I have him tattooed on my leg.
It was entertaining. When I watched it, I had no idea what it was about. No clue, so I was kind of lost for a minute. And then at the end, I was really lost. And so thinking back on it, it was, I think I get it now. And then I watched it again. Like, okay, I get it.
So through the movie, you're like, what? And at
A
the end
lot
of it, you're
time,
like,
yeah. But it was entertaining. Like, this is super weird. You know, when am I going to get it?
He's killing a lot of people.
Right.
Very, like, he's not even nonchalant about it. He's just like, I just like threw a chainsaw down in my high-rise stairwell. And
Yeah, no big deal.
yeah, that's no big deal.
It's like running around naked outside.
Yes.
Or outside of his room.
There is, what is it? There is no Patrick Bateman, just an idea of Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, it's like Fight Club in a sense. You know,
That movie blew my mind the first time I watched it.
Yeah, same, for sure.
That was like one of those first like good hard twist movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did that come out before or after Sixth Sense? Or around the same time?
I don't
worth a
even
Google.
know. I don't even know what year it is. So I can't remember years for anything. Lion King, we talked about that
It's
in
like
a
the
couple
90s.
of podcasts ago.
Like
It's
94.
like someone said 96, I think, and I was like, hey, 93, 4? Yeah, I don't know.
I do that with music. Like I was revisiting like I like to go back and listen to stuff that I listened to when I was younger and stuff
Yeah.
you know, nostalgia and
Ace of Base. Yeah.
I know. Okay, I'm not going to get on another tangent while I'm going on a
CNC
tangent.
Music Factory.
No, so I was listening to Cradle of Filth in the car with my family the other day, and I was listening to their album Bittersweet to Succubi, and I was sitting there and I was like, man, I bought this album when it came out. How old is this album? It came out in 2001, and I was like, oh my god, this album's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
That
was a minute ago.
Yeah, it's gross.
Time has flew by.
Yeah, I think the first metal album that I bought with my own money was Korn Issues, and that came out in '99.
It's amazing.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's fucking gross.
It's pretty disgusting.
Like,
I started out musically on, you know, like Bush and Nirvana and Green Day and Weezer and whatever, more alternative. Then my cousin gave me the Black Album. That was like the first quote unquote metal album that I heard. I thought, I like this. I like this a lot. So then, I kid you not, there was probably a full year and a half went by, you know, because there wasn't really, I didn't have internet at the time, so I can't just do a bunch of research and whatever. And then I think it was like a year and a half later, I heard Master of Puppets.
hell yeah.
And then someone said, no, that's Metallica. I'm like, what? Because I have Black Album Metallica in my head, and I'm realizing, wait, what? They sound like this too? So then I got that album, and then Ride the Lightning, and then it's like, okay, there's a whole other world of music that I didn't even know existed, you know?
I have never heard the Black Album.
What?
Never heard the Black Album.
Oh my god.
Okay, so my brother, growing up, listened to a whole array of music, and that was pretty much like my entry into certain things. Like he liked Steve Vai,
Yeah.
and the Toadies. He liked a lot of alternative stuff too, and he denies this to this day. But he had Metallica CDs and stuff like that too. And you know, one of the first the first concert I ever went to was Korn, and he was always like, I never listened to that. So like he never really like I remember him having the Garage Days CD because I remember them smoking cigars in the booklet. But I distinctly remember the first time I ever heard like yelling, like growling metal, or I guess you could call it that, something with harsh vocals other than Metallica. Was like, I remember us being at CD Warehouse in Duncanville, and my brother was looking at something, and Pantera's Great Southern Trendkill was on this like little.
That was the same for me as far as Pantera goes.
Yeah.
Cowboys from Hell, going from that to that album.
Yeah.
And like the way it opens, like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So like I put it on, they had like a little demo, and I had the headphones on my ear, and oh God, I don't even know how old I was. I was really young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember I was yelling, I was like, Andrew, you should hear that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't like the heavy, Cookie Monster vocals. I didn't like that stuff very much. I wasn't really exposed to it. Like I said, I was into more Metallica, so like the pitched growling I really enjoyed. That made more sense. That was a good transition for me, being able to sing something to, I can still sing this, but I have to when I'm doing it,
Yeah.
versus just a
Yeah.
bunch of that. And I didn't like it. I didn't know what to think about it for the longest time. And I think what finally made me appreciate it more is almost the same scenario. I was in a record store with somebody, I forgot who it was and where it was, but Now You Have Something to Die For was
Lamb of
playing
God
overhead. Yeah, and I was like, those vocals sound, I appreciate that. It sounded like it had more personality to it than just straight yelling or something. It was just an interesting style of that type of vocal, sound that I don't know, I just dug it more.
So was that like your first entry into
Appreciating that type of
appreciating
vocal.
that type of vocal?
Yeah, because I even heard, I think I heard Scar Symmetry before I heard Lamb of God, and that was just, dude, that is low, some heavy low stuff on some of the vocals, but the cleans were great. I could sing to it and everything, but all in all, I didn't like it at the time. I didn't know what to think about it. It was a whole bunch at once. Even the guitar solos and stuff. It sounded, at the time, my playing level, it sounded so unreal to me that I thought it was not real. Like studio magic or something, whatever. I didn't really give it the time of day for a long time. But
that's how blast beats were for me. Whenever I first heard blast beats, I was like, man.
Yeah, if they're not done right, too, for one thing.
Yeah.
Watching the differences and someone that knows how to do it. Oh, okay.
Well, like my introduction to those type of vocals, like the really low and really just like gutturals and screeching highs and stuff like that, was, I went from like Korn to having like Kazaa and iMesh and Napster and all of that, and like when all of those were really big and everybody was downloading on them, I would literally just search for things and have them pop up. So like that's how I discovered Cannibal Corpse, that's how I discovered Meshuggah, that's how I discovered like all that stuff. So like I listened to Meshuggah and Cannibal Corpse, and that was like my first introduction to like heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Cannibal Corpse, that was one I didn't really dig. The old, especially the older stuff, I didn't really like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about these vocals. This is just
Yeah.
That's hard to appreciate that. But then once again, I got used to it. Once I appreciated how someone can do it and do it well, do it right, then I listened back to a lot of stuff that I did, years before.
You're like, oh, I get it.
Like, okay, it's not as bad as I remember it being. I just didn't understand what was happening at the time.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people don't. So I totally get not liking stuff if you don't really truly give it the time of day, and maybe see somebody do something. If you see somebody do some shitty vocals, but they're trying to do a specific style, and then this other person also does that specific style and they do it really well. Oh, okay, I get the difference now.
Yeah, and isn't that something you always hear? Like, that's something you always hear about people's critiquing of that style of music, is always the vocals.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's it.
Because some people, it's all they focus on. They don't give a shit about guitars, whatever. Oh, those sound pretty cool. Drums sound pretty cool too. Or they're too bassy, or
they sound so talented, but those vocals.
Yeah, it just ruins it.
going back to me listening to Cradle of Filth, I was reminiscing about how, first off, my dad's a Southern Baptist pastor, right? But he's always been like super supportive of me and like really open to like, I mean, he bought me Slayer, God Hates Us All. Like,
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't think I ever showed him the title of the CD, but I mean, it has like upside down crosses on the front of it. So, I mean, he had to have some sort of inclination.
He just shook his head.
Yeah. But I remember listening to Bittersweets and Succubi like on the way to his church, like in his truck. And he was just like, Stephen, I really like the music, but those vocals, I just can't. Like, it's people's
Hey, at least he could
problem.
have said that with the the music though, instead of altogether. This sucks.
Well, my dad always said, I like Marilyn Manson's music. I really like it. I just don't like what he sings about. My dad's always had like my whole family really has always had a really huge appreciation for music. So that's probably like
That's good then. Yeah,
like
that's probably why there's more tolerance.
yeah. Like my older sister Angie, me and her would always listen to Korn and Rush together.
Yeah, it's a great combination.
Yeah.
It's like corn and cereal or something,
Yeah.
like for food.
Well, I mean, cereal is made out of corn sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, cornflakes.
Yeah.
That was a bad metaphor?
Yeah.
Analogy?
I don't know. I'm so lost.
Which one of those words is right?
We literally went from quantum
Analogous?
physics. We literally went from quantum physics to where we are now.
To cereal and
To cereal.
cornflakes and what did I just say?
Technically, we're almost full circle because I could bring up that you can have cornflakes follow your magnet if it's floating
Oh my
in milk.
God.
Full circle, man.
All right, we've made a full circle. Now
That's
let's
what
move
happens.
on to the next thing.
That's what happens outside of the universe. Like outside of the universe is full circle.
And mic drop.
I said all that to say this.
Having said all that, I like to talk about this with everybody because it's nice to get different perspectives. But what are your feelings about artificial intelligence as far as the future of artificial intelligence and us as a society, I guess? Maybe not necessarily incorporating it into our own bodies, which is a conversation to be had, but losing control of said artificial intelligence.
Well, what is it? The rule of robotics, where a robot can't hurt its. Is that what it is?
Make-believe rule.
But I mean, that's kind of a hard thing to talk about because you watch sci-fi movies and like artificial intelligence is this thing that like let's go with Aliens, like go to the more recent ones like Covenant and Prometheus and stuff like that, where like what's his name? I can't remember his name. The AI guy that's there, he kind of goes off the walls because he's like hyper intelligent almost. You know what I mean? So yeah,
he's basically conscious at that point.
There's something that's said in that movie, and every time Prometheus, and every time I hear it and see that scene, it's where they're like at the billiard table.
Yes,
and he's like,
that's when you really get a grasp of his intentions.
Well, the guy that he's talking to, the one who's drinking that he poisons or whatever, looks up at him and he says, "But you can't feel that, right?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "But he can." That's the trippy thing about it.
Yeah, because especially the way he looks back at him.
Yeah,
I suppose I can't, or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, have you ever seen Ex Machina? That movie is pretty good representation of AI, where it could go as well.
That's what I mean. Yeah, more along those lines.
Yeah, I think
like even deceptive.
Yeah,
you can't even tell what's happening.
I think AI is just another way for us to play God, like straight up making intelligence. And if we do that, then they could be what replaces us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a movie on Netflix right now called I Am Mother.
I haven't watched that. Is that worth a watch?
Definitely worth a watch. It's pretty much about this robot births a child and a
Wait a minute. No, I did see that.
Did you?
Raises the kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I must
yeah.
have been thinking of something completely different. Yeah, I did see that.
But like that's kind of like something in that, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And it's
yes.
I thought that was crazy
That
how
was
they made it like a
interesting.
hive mind. That was
yeah.
it was
that was an interesting
splendid.
concept.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that AI could definitely like if we are dangerous with it, if that makes sense. Because right now we haven't technically made negligent. We haven't made. Actually, there's that one that has the Twitter. That one robot that has the Twitter.
The chick?
Yeah, I think that's the first actual AI that
She's
we've
like
made.
a citizen somewhere. I don't
Yeah,
know where.
she's a citizen somewhere. Like that's insane.
It's like we're trying to jumpstart it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just go ahead and make her a citizen, and then we'll give her a
She has
driver's
rights now.
license.
Yeah, and
she
she
can
can
get an
vote.
automated vehicle, and
I mean, like, imagine, like, if we keep on doing that, like, we've got those robots that you always see that Google's making right now that can, like, balance and you can kick them and they stay standing and stuff like that. Like, imagine putting something like that in one of those. Then you literally have something dangerous. You know what I mean?
Potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
That was what I heard on Joe Rogan's podcast just the other day with Whitney Cummings, the comedian chick. She has a robot of herself, but it's mostly the head it's like a sex doll, but the head is the prize. That's
What?
You can talk to it, program it, and everything. It is weird. I recommend watching that episode. Not listening, but watching that episode.
So,
Anyway, they were talking about,
does she have the head with her?
yeah, she had the whole thing with her. And she could take the head off and put it on like a pedestal
Oh my
to just
God.
sit down and talk to and whatever. It's creepy.
I think that is a new level of, like, what do you call it? Agoraphobia? I literally can't leave my house, so I made a robot of myself to talk to. Because when I talk to myself in my house, it makes me feel insane.
Yeah. You know what's even weirder? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and take a little sidetrack.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Here. So if you're by yourself, sometimes you will talk out loud.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We all do that, right?
Yeah.
You'd say something out loud. Do you ever find yourself saying it in your head, but then you say it again out loud after you've said it in your head?
Okay. So I am a hard person to talk to about this because I literally have conversations out loud with myself when I'm in public. So I actually, I have a therapist, and I think it's important for almost everybody to have a therapist because it's nice to have somebody to talk to that
course.
actually knows how to help you deal with things. So I have a therapist, and I asked him, I was like, hey man, so listen, I literally will talk for people out loud and go through situations in my life that I think could potentially happen, and this could be potentially what they say, and this would be my response to that, and I just have this whole conversation with myself. I'll be at work, and I'll just be like doing something, and I'm just sitting there like I'm trying to think of like a real world situation that I'd be thinking of. Like, oh, you go into an interview. Oh, well, Stephen, why do you want this job? Oh, well, I really want this job because I'm trying to further my career. And like, I just have conversations like that.
Yeah, just play out the whole scenario in your head, the whole scene.
So simultaneously, I guess I'm thinking it and saying it, or I'm thinking it and then saying it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yes, I do that.
I guess I mean that personally. When I do that, it's like I don't know. It's like a compulsion. I have to say it out loud for it to actually have been thought, and
Like
it's like
speaking
someone's
it into existence.
Someone,
almost.
yeah. Well, like someone's listening. Like, well, if I'm doing this, then, and I said this in my head, they're not going to understand why I'm doing this. It's so weird. I have that. Not like I'm paranoid that I'm being watched all the time, but I just feel like I have to say something out loud sometimes if I say it in my head. Otherwise, what I'm physically doing doesn't make sense. If someone were to be watching.
So the way my therapist explained it is, no, you're not crazy. That's the first thing he said. The second thing is like some people hold those things in and they're good with just thinking it and they're perfectly fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have to say it and that's how they bring it in. That's how they
Okay.
like soak it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like some people read out loud, some people read quietly.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
introverts,
yeah.
extroverts, polyverts, and all that stuff. It's the same thing. It's just when you feel like you have to say it, it's because you do have to say it, and that's how you absorb that information.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy how the human mind works.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think of it necessarily as crazy. It's just, I don't know, it just seems like an odd compulsion that I didn't know if it was normal in a lot of people, or does anybody even notice that? Maybe you do it, you don't even notice it, or not you, but like some people, you know?
I've had people in my house before. I was like recording something, and I was just sitting there talking to myself about the recording. They were like, "Who are you talking to?" Or they were like, "Who's here?" I was like, "Nobody." They're like, "Who were you talking to?" I was like, "Me." Yeah, funny story about that.
Come in, let's talk about it.
Yeah, come here. Don't mind the knife.
I mean, yeah, I talk out loud by myself all the time. Sing myself songs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, today sucked a whole bunch. I don't really want to do anything.
It's okay to comfort yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's a good thing.
It's not your fault, Rusty.
I was born this way. Sounds like a country song.
Yeah.
Hey, I started to do a podcast the other day by myself, just a recording. I was very unprepared. I was just on the spot, really wanted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought is I want to go on Facebook and I want to pick like a controversial post and dive into the comment section and just read comments, but read them in whatever voice that I feel like they should be read in. You know,
Oh my God.
Well, that goddamn Trump is just a blah, 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 blah. And then, or something.
I think you guys think it's a gun problem, and really it's just a patriot problem.
I ain't never seen no gun shoot nobody with ain't nobody behind the gun by himself in the case.
That's like blaming the bullet.
Not even trying to push an agenda of any sort. It's just give these characters some life, because it feels like, what? Who would even think some of the stuff that's being typed out?
You know,
like, I'll tell you who thinks it. I do.
That's why I really try and keep away from the like political posts. I posted one today. I'll be honest. I did that today. I was just like
political.
Yeah, political. Yeah, you know, I try and keep away from it because, like, no offense to anybody who's listening to this, but like 95% of the people, I don't want to hear their opinion, nor do I give a fuck about their opinion. Because like, I'm either going to look at it like, oh yeah, I agree with that, or I'm going to be like, why am I friends with you? You know what I mean? Like I was talking to this guy at work, and you know, we were talking about some stuff, and he's like a super conservative person, and he's like, well, I don't think the gays should get married. Why? You know what I mean?
That's a tough one, man.
It's
why? Like, yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, it's just stuff like that, and you know,
where does it hurt you? Show me.
Yeah. Can you point on this doll where he touched you? Like, I mean, you know, and it's simple. It's really simple things that I get really upset about, like gay marriage and like pro-life, pro-choice, or like transgender. It's just like things that are just kind of like, where is it your fucking business? Like, really?
Yeah.
How can you have an opinion on that when it's not your life?
If it came down to, well, the gays shouldn't be married because once they get married, they get this right, and then that right should be divided because this and this should be from that. And if you get detailed like that, maybe I'll respect that you have an opinion that came from somewhere. But it's just like, well, I just don't think it's right. That's not fucking good enough, man.
Yeah. Well, my other favorite argument to say is the next one. The next thing's going to happen is pedophiles are going to get their rights.
They're going to add that to the LGBTQ BS boo.
P.
That P's for pedophile.
Yeah, that P's for pedophile. You know, I
don't really find anybody that's going to accept that, but okay.
No, I mean, like, it's like, how can you compare like two consenting adults to a consenting adult to a child that isn't cognitively able to have those type of thoughts?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh God.
People are going to be people, and they're just people in the weirdest ways.
I know, man.
But that's what I guess that's what I was getting at, is those controversial posts and comments. I could read them and get upset by it because I think that's fucking dumb, or I can't believe that someone would think this way and think about people this way, and it would upset me. Or I can just read it like a goofball and bring some humor into it, and I avoided the whole anger, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just laugh about it. But like I said, I started to do it, and then I just found myself surfing through Facebook, for like 5 minutes solid. And
Just
I find nothing.
Were you even talking?
Yeah, I was just
5
saying,
minutes of just like
I'm
you
sorry,
breathing
this
heavy?
is dumb. I find one post and one comment, and I think, oh, gold mine, and then there's nothing else worth reading. So I'm going to have to just have a bunch laid out, ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then read it. So I'm probably going to delete everything I had, but I think the idea is...
Yeah, I think that's a lot of fun. I had a kind of a funny idea for a TV show one time that absolutely has nothing to do with what you were just talking about.
Okay, let's go.
So I had this idea, kind of like a Robot Chicken-esque thing where it's like, small skits or whatever. It doesn't have to be like their type of animation or something like that. Mm-hmm. But take superheroes, you know what I mean? Superheroes. And they're like blowing up, all these buildings and doing all this stuff, throwing cars, like, it's in every superhero movie. Yeah. But like literally just record the people in the background. And that's the whole thing. Like, they're just eating dinner. They're like, oh, yeah, having this deep conversation over brunch. Like, oh, yeah. All of a sudden, the superhero blows up, and they're like, oh, my God! And you just, like, follow them trying to get out of the situation.
That's a good idea. or like someone in the very, very back. It's like way away from it. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
They're just like...
Why did he just break the wall?
Oh, my God.
Could he just come to the door?
So many people died just then. Oh, my God. Like...
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I just think it'd be hilarious to
we
just
should cut
watch
this
that.
out so no one steals it.
Oh,
and
yeah, copyright. That's already copywritten.
It's copywritten, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to mail this to myself so that there's...
The poor man's copyright?
Yeah.
I've done that.
And really, have you?
Yeah.
People
never
tell
had
me...
to use it or anything, whatever, but yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I had somebody steal copyright material one time. Oh, actually, it wasn't copywritten. That's why they stole it. And it's ridiculous. And like I talked to a lawyer, and they were like,
"You did it to yourself."
Yeah, a lawyer told me that. They were like, "Really, you should have done this before you showed anybody your music." And I was like, "Oh wow."
Well, now we're just gonna.
And it was like a really large band, and they got a lot of money off of the song. It sucks.
Oh, okay. That's like a Bullet for My Valentine. They stole one of my old band songs. That band right there on the wall.
Did they really?
The intro.
Did they really?
It is so similar, it's not even funny.
Dude, mine was Seether. That song, Hypocrite or whatever.
I don't know, I'm not familiar. If I heard it, I'd probably know. I don't know names.
Hypocrite. Yeah. I don't know. Wow, wow. Like,
that's it.
Yeah. But like the song that I showed him was a song called Hypocrite. And literally the chorus was the chorus, like not musically, but lyrically, that was the chorus. And I was like, what the hell? And I had met him years and years ago. Mm-hmm. And he bought me my first Jaeger bomb ever, the lead singer. And because he was like in town for something, and we were at the Curtain Club, and I was of age, and he got me really twisted. And I was like, dude, I know this isn't really your thing, because like it was kind of metal, kind of not. It was like there was singing, there was growling, no black. Anyways, so I handed him this, and I was like, I know it's not really your bag, but I'd like you to listen to it or whatever. And come a year later, they put out that song, and I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, and I talked to a lawyer about it, and he was like, yeah, there's nothing you could do.
He said you could just brag about it online. That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, wow, this blows.
Damn, man. Yeah, if you had a picture or something of it with a timestamp on it, I mean, you could just throw it out there. Like, hey, in case anybody ever didn't know or wants to know.
Yeah.
This was mine. Ha, ha, ha.
But this was so many years ago. Like, we talked about this earlier, but I couldn't tell you when that song came out. So
yeah.
Like,
right.
But
yeah, what year was that?
Oh, man, it had to have been like 2005.
The thing, like with our song, it was a specific pattern. Let's see if we can do it on here. It was a specific beat that we repeated or whatever, and they did the exact same thing. It was just a hair slower.
Yeah.
But we weren't even playing at that time when we found out.
In mandatory?
But, yeah.
Where are you in that photo? Is that you on the bottom?
Yeah, that's me.
Is that you? You had like the disturbed lip ring?
Yeah. The Lebre. Libre. I still have that hole. I just
Rusty Drayman.
I just don't put anything in it. I just don't use it anymore. I want to pull up the song. We can totally cut this out, but now that I'm thinking about it, I want you to hear it. But I don't know the name of that song. The Bullet for My Valentine song.
I won't say I know what it is, but I might know what it is. Cause
this is the song that that's not it, stupid. There's like a melody that plays behind it, but that rhythm continues. I don't know
what song that is either. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
How do I get to their discography?
You could go to Spotify probably.
Bullet for My Valentine discography.
I think around the time that they came out was around the time that YouTube first became a thing, kind of. Man, it's crazy to think about. I remember when YouTube first started. You know,
Yeah, dude. Once again, I didn't really have a lot of internet until I was much older.
I was actually one of the first 50,000 people with a MySpace.
Really?
Yeah. I was a huge member of the internet community.
Dude, I had web TV.
That's
all I had.
I was all about the MSN chat. Like, that was my thing. I used to play like Dungeons and Dragons on there.
I've never played that.
Really? Well, I mean, it wasn't really Dungeons and Dragons. It was like, I don't know, man. Anybody who did that kind of knows what I'm talking about. But like, you had to like be able to type so many words like to hit somebody, like if you were fighting or there were storylines and stuff like that. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, that's how I got.
I feel like I probably would have gotten into it, or maybe gotten lost in it if I had really sunk my teeth into it.
Yeah,
probably wise that I didn't.
It consumed my life when I was like 14. It consumed my life.
Fever, yeah, because I've heard a lot of people it's that way. It's just, I don't know, like a mild addiction or something.
Oh,
or just
like
nothing
mild about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're sitting there like D&D destroyed my life. Oh, it's just a mild addiction. Like,
well, I guess
mild.
it's pretty severe.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is anybody can get addicted to anything, right?
Oh, of course. I'm addicted to podcasts. I'm not actually.
Yeah, I'm addicted to just my phone. I've been working on that.
That's a hard one, man.
It is.
Fever is the next album. I'm going to try to cut out as much as possible of this.
Fever.
I just want to hear that one thing.
You know, randomly throughout this cover.
That was it.
Oh my God.
It's just slower.
I'm not going to lie to you, Rusty. Whenever you showed me y'all's song, I was like, well, I mean, that's kind of like, could have done that accidentally. But like, that is like blatant.
So you hear
it's even the snare and everything.
Yeah, the melody or whatever behind it.
Yeah.
Like, and it goes back to it. Okay, so we did a different melody. So we play a melody, and then we go back to the original thing. Again, just the same as they did.
Yeah, so crazy.
They ripped it, dude. So the song is called Fever. Okay.
Yeah, you got a fever from stealing stuff.
Yeah. Hey, so another thing was, I meant to ask you earlier and I got sidetracked.
It happens.
Your album.
Yeah.
You briefly talked about that. What's the status of that? And then another thing I was going to ask regarding that was the theme, because I believe you mentioned that to me before.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So how it's going is we're almost done recording. We kind of ran into a couple hiccups. But we're back on track with it, and we just have like little things to finish up, and then it's done, and then it's in the hands of Unique Leader. As far as like a release date, don't know it yet. I want to tell you what it's called, but I don't know if I can.
Just rhyme words. It rhymes with this.
It's a word that not a normal person would know.
Okay.
Like we looked it up, and it was just like kind of perfect for what we're doing. I can tell you that the art's done by Par Orlifson. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
It's pretty. I'll even
see if you can show the mic. I'm gonna put in the notes here that your band name is I Am Destruction.
Oh, yeah.
Because that wasn't mentioned, which is my fault. I should have said that. Dude, that looks really cool.
Yeah. Like, the amount of detail on there is just, like, insane. And that's, like, a bad...
That looks really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But the theme is a continuation of the EP, so I'll just explain it, because now when people ask me, I could just be like, go listen to the podcast. I'll tell you the whole story behind it, and then I'll tell you the real story behind it. Oh, man. Okay, so the EP was all about a guy who kills in order to get closer to God, and God's like, no, that's not at all what I want. God being Andrew Patterson. And so he sends him down to hell. Well, in hell, instead of becoming like everybody else who goes there and goes into like an eternal suffering sort of thing, he becomes like almost like purified by the flame. So he becomes cognitive there, so he has to find his body to come back to Earth, because he can't come back the way he is. Mm-hmm. So in my version of hell, in my mind, part of the torture of hell is being able to see your body and not being able to obtain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's
torture.
Yeah, it's torture. You know what I mean? And it says one of the lyrics in the song that I'm talking about right now is the second track. It's called Infernal Catabasis. It says, I always thought hell was full of beast, but it's only full of worthless man. He finds his body and it's destroyed. That's also a part of the torture, is that you can see it and you think it's there, but really it's just garbage.
Yeah.
So the only way to come back is to imbue himself into a container, a body that is untouched by original sin. If you know anything about the Bible, we're all born with original sin. Mm-hmm. So he has to kill a child in utero.
Okay.
So he strangles a baby with his umbilical cord.
Why are you laughing at this? You
it's
sick
so
and twisted man.
Every time I explain this to somebody, when I get to this song, they're
Do you
like,
see their
what
face?
the fuck?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I sent a friend of mine the lyrics, and he goes, dude, you are so sick. So he kills this baby and he imbues his soul into the container. And because he's a pure soul, it causes the gestational period to like rapidly change. And pretty much he bursts through this woman's body as a full-grown man. Like, he grows through this woman's body and bursts through her body.
That's amazing.
It's sick.
Yeah.
But now here's the fourth song, Encased in Adipocere. Because he's a pure soul, he begins rotting because our bodies are imperfect. It talks about how his torso and abdomen swell because of gases forming inside of his body and stuff like that. And the next song is about how the only way to keep any part of him here is to like have a child. So this is where it gets a little not PC. So he stalks someone and
inserts his...
No, he stalks someone and he drugs her with GHB. It literally says that. So he takes her home, he impregnates her. It doesn't talk about rape. Like, I didn't want that to be
elaborate.
I didn't want that to be the center of the song. It's
Sure.
just something that happens. You know what I mean?
More insinuated than...
Yeah, it's more insinuated. It talks about how he takes care of her. It talks about how he keeps her really hydrated, like through IV and stuff like that. And then it takes too long for her to have the child. And he cuts it out.
I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah. It says... it's always hard for me to remember lyrics when I'm not actually like playing the song. It's like 9 months have come and gone. What is it? It talks about how like 9 months have come and gone. Circumstances have forced my hand. And then it talks about I grind at the womb with my blade. I say grind because my blade is dull.
That's sick.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't write a lot of like rhymes and stuff like that. I write
Just
very
tell stories.
Yes, I write very blunt. I write not super descriptive sometimes, but like that's how I like to write.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, the girl has Stockholm syndrome and is in love with him, and he's in love with her. And she says, "Let me see him. He sounds so beautiful." And so here's the real story of the EP. So I did a lot of stuff in my life to feel like I could accomplish perfection in myself. Drugs, alcohol, women, all sorts of stuff. And I went through all of these horrible things and did all these horrible things to myself and just went through life. And then finally I met Candace and her son, and I knew that that's what I had to do in my life to become a better person. So I was rotting while walking, and then I became I didn't stalk her and drug her or anything like that, but it's death metal. You got to make it death metal. I fell in love.
Spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. You can't just be like, "I love you so much, girl." So From Hip to Hip is about my son being born, Uriah. Well, I mean, I have two sons, but my biological son. Whenever he was born, talks about how in the song it talks about how reaching in elbow deep. Mm-hmm. They were literally reaching into her elbow deep. And so I was very descriptive about it because I watched it. I was telling you earlier, I watched them flop her guts out. And the first thing, or one of the first things that Candace said whenever he was pulled out and he started crying was, "He sounds so cute, let me see him."
That's perfect.
Yeah, dude. So it's all about that. So that's the EP. So now it's a continuation of that. So the album is in two parts. It's about the father and about the son. So it's about how he discovers that his body wasn't actually rotting. It was his mind, and he was going crazy, and he just like was thinking all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he like gets lost in just like how insane he is, and like he starts feeling like he wants to kill people again, and then he remembers like why he's here, and it's his son. Well, when he realizes that's the first song. The second song is I won't break it down into songs, I'll just tell the story. So once he realizes that, he goes into this crazy state where he starts having like open eye hallucinations about like the end of existence. Like everything's burning, and he sees a figure with death in his hands, and his breath smells like sulfur. And and he realizes it's his son, and he talks about, he's like, at first it was dread, but now I've accepted him as a part of myself, and he's the harbinger of the apocalypse. Then heaven gets involved, because now that we've established that this is like a child of supernatural existence, and he's actually like the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
So they call angels like the heavenly hosts and stuff like that. So he starts sending, they come for him, but the father tries to defend the son, but they're not coming for his son directly. They come for him. And it talks about how they force themselves through his mouth, and they take him over, and they like, he tries to keep from doing it, but they are just completely in control. And they like force him they force him to strangle his son. And it's like, it talks about how like he's watching it happen, like he can't do anything about it. And he says that they're choking him so hard that the skin is being forced through his fingers.
That's descriptive.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like I write really blunt. So it talks about how it's done, and they leave him. They just gone, and he's sitting there holding his lifeless son. And he said, "But I can feel his heartbeat." And it talks about how his wanting for life is stronger than even heaven's might, and he pretty much like offers himself out to the universe to keep his son alive.
Mm-hmm.
So the end of the father story is what he gets because of that. He becomes covered in sores and boils, and they burst on his body, and he like starts liquefying inside of himself, and like it talks about how he throws up like this like velvety liquid and stuff, and he just like dies in front of his son. And then it progresses into his son realizes that all of it's just his dad feeding him this information that like he's supposed to be like the opposition, the nemesis, the great enemy. Like that's and he's sitting there thinking, he's like, man, do I want this? Is this really what I want in my life or whatnot? And he talks about how he's always known what he has to do. He's always known, and it's always calling to him, and it's always beckoning him and pulling him further down. So he kills himself. It's like, that's all I can do. That's all I can do to stop myself from either becoming this or forever being confused. So the next one's not really a song. It's more like a thing that represents what's going on. It's like death and him being there, and you can hear people talking to him and saying, you're not supposed to be here yet. This isn't where you're supposed to be. Go home. Go home. So he comes back to life and talks about how the earth is welcoming to his weight, and when he's stepping onto the ground, becoming this more focused person, and he's like, I have accepted my fate. This is what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be the Leviathan. I'm supposed to be the beast, the Antichrist. You know what I mean? I was really having trouble writing for this album and like really like putting my mind on it. And I was like, you know, I really should write about what I know. And my dad being a Southern Baptist pastor, it's like, I know a lot about that. And I've always been like really fascinated by Revelations and stuff like that. So it's all about the Antichrist. And the next one's going to be further into the story. And I figure on the third one, that's how I'll finish it. And I'll finish it then, and I'll start another story.
Yeah. That's wild, man. That's a
tale,
an adventure.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like really exciting for me to do that, you know, and that's why, you know, it's just gonna be really cool.
Yeah. That's an interesting journey for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I my lyrics are so garbage. They've always been garbage because I can write some decent stuff, but whenever it comes to writing lyrics, I feel like I'm so excited because the song is about done usually at that point. So I just want to get some lyrics or get some vocals done quick. I have the vocal melodies, I have vocal placement ready. I just don't have the words, so I just write a bunch of bullshit and put it down. And then later I'm thinking, why didn't I take more time on that and actually come up with something that made sense or had a, you know, reason. But I haven't done that in a while. But I'm for this solo album that I'm starting. I don't know how many vocals how much vocals I'm gonna have on the album really in general. But I'm gonna try to do something that makes more sense. Take my time with it, you know.
Well, I had one song that I wrote like that, where I like had all the placement that I was gonna do, and I just I was reading it and I was like, I'm just gonna rewrite this. So I just rewrote it completely and had to re-record it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, that's not really.
That's good though.
Copacetic to what we're.
Yeah.
Is that the right word for that?
Copacetic?
Is that the right word for that?
I think so.
I think so too.
Isn't it?
I don't know. I try to have a good vernacular, but I usually F it up. Vernacular.
My vascular is pretty good too.
My heartbeat is strong.
Besides disregarding any ideologies and religions whatsoever, do you believe in any form of reincarnation?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I won't ignore ideologies and stuff like that.
But I told you to.
Oh, I'm not going to though. I'm just going to go against what you said. So, I'm what you would call like pantheistic, I guess you would say. I think that God is a part of everything. And in that, I think that everything just kind of rotates into itself. So, actually, you're going to laugh.
I just did.
Yeah, you're already laughing, and I haven't even started it. I started believing in reincarnation because of a Disney movie.
Which one is that?
It might have been, I think it was Disney, The Great Panda Escape.
Oh, I don't.
It was
think I saw
years
that.
and years ago, and it was when I was a kid. And this is like when I developed it. I was like, boom, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
We're talking about reincarnation in that, and this guy is explaining it to this kid, and he goes, well, if reincarnation doesn't exist, well, I would just pour this glass of water out and the water would disappear, but the water doesn't disappear. It just goes to a different container. Blew my mind. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I mean, because like literally all we are is just like electronic pulses through like this bag of wrinkles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's it. We're just an overgrown sperm.
Yeah.
So like, where does the electricity go? Where does the
Back
energy go?
into the earth,
No, it just goes somewhere else.
and then
you know
up
what I
into
mean?
someone's foot.
Well, I always thought it was always interesting to think about, like, we don't have a soul until we take our first breath.
Okay.
You know, like, what if there's something waiting for you out there? Like,
See, that's kind of what I thought for a minute. It's like there's souls, or I don't even want to say souls, just some sort of like essence, some aura, some
orb.
ball of something that's floating around in like a lottery container thing, like this ever rolling ball. And
now
then-
calling B12.
yeah. So you just get you're this ball that goes into the next breath of life, somewhere.
But I think also a lot of that has to do with what you did before. You know what I mean? I think the highest level of existence that you could... I think the highest level existence that you can obtain on this earth is a tree. It's like you come back as a tree. You just exist forever.
You've seen it all.
Yeah, you've seen it all. It's time to just relax and get cut down by some lumberjack,
Some jackass.
serial killer.
Some redneck. This tree in my way. I can't see them.
This tree's ruining my view.
You say no.
Yeah. We just come back as another one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. How many ever years later?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta get
You're in the lottery.
soaked back in. Exactly. See, that's kind of what I was thinking, though. If that's the case, if you just happen to float up somewhere in the clouds or whatever, and then you're back in the lottery ball, and who knows when you get picked again? You might be born into the 3000s somewhere, or maybe it's connected to the other dimensions and time
All
lines
interconnected.
too. Yeah.
Like a spider web.
I seriously think that we have a collective consciousness in that same sense,
Yeah.
where we can connect somehow.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what is it called? Cephalic Carnage said we're all absorbers of the planet Earth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The Great Eye. What is it? Young. Is that his name?
Yao Ming?
Young.
Yao Ming?
There's this guy who does a lot of psychedelics, and he talks about that stuff.
Mm.
And I used to read a lot of his, writings a long time ago when I was like 19. But I've done a lot of drugs since then, so I can't recall.
Yeah, it happens. We were talking about that earlier, about parts of your brain that you don't use. And that's what I was thinking. I've mentioned that in another podcast too, where maybe the part of our brain that we don't use, we don't utilize, or whatever, has something to do with maybe some sort of telepathy or being able to communicate with somebody. You would have to awaken that part of your brain and know how to exercise and use it, and that would give you that extra sense to connect with someone that, like, maybe even just like a close distance. You have to be within a certain distance, and you have to both agree that, somehow in your head that this is okay. We are able to make this transference of information, communicate with one another besides vocally.
So I think telepathy doesn't necessarily exist whenever you're tripping and stuff, but I think that we have a hypersense of visual cues.
Mm-hmm.
Like people with certain behavioral and mental disorders and stuff like that have like this heightened sense of body language and visual cues and stuff like that. And I think you kind of get the same thing whenever you're tripping. Everything's a lot more apparent. Everything's a lot
fluid, more fluid too. So maybe you can like movements are exaggerated to a point or slowed down where you understand them.
Exactly, because like I've had points in time where I would be tripping on some substance or whatever, and I felt like I could feel or hear how someone was thinking, or like sex on hallucinogenics is really crazy because like I felt like I could, that there's something there that I'm molding and controlling. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a different level of like mental connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think telepathy, maybe. just because, once again, we're electronic impulses, and what happens to electricity when you have another point of electricity? It arcs, right?
Right.
So, like, why couldn't that
Yeah, like a
happen?
magnetic field of some
Yeah,
sort. Once you're in contact, you feel that resistance or the draw.
Exactly.
And you could have that with another person, I guess, too. Like if you're both woke in your brain, to that sense.
And if you look at brain activity when it's on like LSD or mushrooms or something like that, it's like crazy with activity. So you're like buzzing in your head. You know what I mean? So it's like if they're buzzing too, you know.
Yeah. And I don't know I don't know what dreams are like, or I feel like when you're having sleep study or kind of a thing, I don't know if you're using different parts of your brain, like if you're in your REM cycle and you're dreaming, like maybe even lucid dreaming or something, your parts of your brain are firing that normally wouldn't fire when you're awake.
Well, I mean, when you're dreaming, you're shooting DMT into your brain, right? Like through your pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what that is.
So I don't know, how do you do that when you're awake? How do you do that otherwise? And what activates that? What tells your brain to do that?
Like, I mean, I used to lucid dream like at will. I used to
Do it right now.
Oh,
Pause.
Yeah. I used to wear headphones that would have a drone.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And I would have 2 computer screens, much like that, and they would flash different colors. And I would take like melatonin or something to force my body into sleep, but have something keeping me awake and in existence at the same time. And
that's intense.
Yeah. And like I used to practice that.
I might have an anxiety attack.
Probably. I don't know how I didn't.
I think I have mild epilepsy. I'm not joking.
Really?
I get sensitive. Like I don't feel like I'm going to pass out, but mainly on the not highway, just on a road with trees when the sun is barreling through like the middle of the trees, like it's a strobe hitting my face. I have to look away. I feel like I'm about to maybe black out or something. It's a weird feeling. I get it sometimes, not really at shows with strobes, but it's uncomfortable. But there's moments like that where I feel like I might pass out if something continues or gets worse.
Yeah.
You know?
The rail used to be really bad at this, but I saw it at Gas Monkey on Friday, is when they strobe red and blue. When they strobe red and blue, I am thinking to myself, I am about to have a seizure. This is about to happen. I know it. I feel it. I can feel my body about to shut down.
That's crazy.
And I have to just like close my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes me feel nauseous.
Right. That's weird.
Yeah. Someone told me one time it was due to the brain understanding that red and blue lights are threatening.
Could be.
Yeah.
Very well.
It's kind of weird, right?
It is weird.
Our neuronet.
Because if we didn't know what police were, I wonder if that would still mean anything.
Probably not. Because we wouldn't associate it with. I mean, what other red and blue lights like signal danger? I mean, red lights, sure, like flashing red lights and symbols, does danger because red is a very like vibrant color and it's what we use for that. But red and blue put together, the only other thing I think of is like 3D glasses.
Right. Yeah. That's a different kind of view there.
Yeah, but I think AI is dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It is dangerous. We just can't
be
all willy-nilly with it.
We can't. But back to that chick, Whitney Cummings, with her doll.
Oh, yeah.
With her thing. On that podcast, they were talking about things that people forget when they make robots or they're working on artificial intelligence. You might forget this one little thing that ends up causing the robot to do something damaging because you didn't consider this. Because a normal person thinks this out of morality, but they don't have morality. So it's just, they just do something that could be harmful to something or someone. And I think one of the examples was telling the robot to jump on a table. Maybe it wasn't jump, it was get on the table. Yeah. So you jump on the table or get on the table. Well, the easiest thing for this robot to do, because it can't jump or something, is to smash the table and then step on top of the table. Like, well, we didn't think that was going to happen, Oh,
man.
So little things like that you might forget or not think about could be devastating if you give something that much power. By giving it that power, you give everyone this amount of convenience. but you have forgotten this. Now everyone is potentially in danger because it could, I don't know. I feel like it could completely get where you can't control it.
I mean,
it's too smart.
You know, I was sitting here thinking, and I was like, how could you even avoid that? And I was like, give them jelly bodies. But you were like, make them powerful so that you have this kind of convenience. And it's like, man, that's it, right? Convenience.
Yeah, convenience is, everyone agrees to convenience.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, who doesn't want to just like have something else wash their dishes or do their laundry or walk their, well, actually, you know, some people enjoy walking their dogs and stuff. Yeah. But, you know, just little things that we feel take a long time. I would love to have a robot hold a bucket while I pee and play video games at the same time, so I don't have to walk to the bathroom. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, hook this tube up to my pee-pee and let me urinate.
No, I'll just sit on a chair specially made for me that has like a cup right here. I don't have to move. I don't have to get up. I just like literally
just drain it out.
Just drain it out. I defecate, and then it comes up and it gets the bucket and dumps it where it needs to go.
I'm picturing this in my head, but not you. But I'm picturing a 400-pound person, and they have like a headset on with milkshakes and like the straw into their mouth, and it's just like a never-ending cycle of drainage and consumption.
Yeah, and then
like
they have virtual
goggles.
reality on their head, and they're just like this guy with like 8-pack abs, and
and he's like banging on these chicks and and he's just like stinky, smelly 400 pounds.
Have you watched the new season of Black Mirror?
I think I just saw the first episode
with the video game.
Yeah,
it's exactly like that.
Oh my god,
like,
that was weird.
Yeah, I was like, Candace, all right, I've got to ask you this question: is it gay? Like, I mean, no, because it's a guy and a girl. Yes, because it's two friends. I mean, like it's like it's weird. I mean, you know, whatever. And the other question I want to ask is, because he asks him, what are the orgasms like? And he's like, oh, it's like getting on top of a mountain and blah, 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 blah. Why didn't they switch roles ever?
Yeah. And then later he says something along the lines of, you know, I've tried it with other people and it's not the same.
Even with the polar bear character?
Yeah. Fucking polar bear.
Yeah, I tried 24 people gangbangs. I was like, what? It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's just not the same. It's not you, man.
One man, one girl body.
One polar bear.
Yeah. One polar bear and 24 other people.
2 gay guys.
Yeah. But they're not really gay. They're just 2 guys that want to have sex in a video game. And like they meet each other and they like kiss and they're like, nope, nothing.
Yeah. And then it's something.
How do you exist? And then like he lets his wife go off and have sex with people in real life. I'd be like, hold on. There's a big difference. Like there's a big difference. Like I'm not going to come home with an STD. Or get pregnant from somebody else.
Weird episode.
Yeah.
You've seen the rest of them?
There was one that I just stopped watching because it was boring as F. And then the other one was okay. Like had Miley Cyrus in it. It was all right.
Wait, I did see that one. I liked that one.
Yeah, I mean it
sounded like Lady Gaga more than Miley Cyrus.
Yeah,
I just thought her voice. No, I'm just saying the voice. Yeah. Like I felt like she was going for more of that necessarily.
I did get annoyed that it was a 9 Inch Nails song, over and over and over and over again, and people were like, "That song was so cool!" Like literally, I saw people talking about how that song was so cool, and they wish it was a real song on Facebook. And I'm like, you are really young.
Whenever I saw it being talked about first, before I saw the actual episode, I thought that they legitimately stole the song until the end. And I was like, oh, that's part of it. Okay, I get it now. So I thought, what a ripoff.
I won't say who it was because they might listen to this podcast. I don't want to call them out like that because they're related to me. But I remember whenever Johnny Cash put out "Hurt," his cover of it, she was like, he just wrote that song and it's just so deep. And I'm like, God, you are way younger than me. It's like Johnny Cash's original song "Hurt." Oh no.
Which one would that be?
Yeah.
Is that different from the cover?
When did he come out with that one? Oh, you know, on his last album ever. Oh, the cover album.
Yeah.
where all of his songs were covers. It's like saying, man, Between the Buried and Me wrote a song called Battery. No, Blackened. That's the one that they did.
And Bicycle.
Yeah. They're just, that whole album was just so great. What is it called? The Anatomy of?
I don't know what it is, but all the songs sound so familiar.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard them on the radio before.
They really know how to write stuff.
Exactly. It's just so catchy.
Yeah. They should be on the radio.
Yeah. You know, my question, why didn't they put any of those covers on the radio?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of theirs.
Really?
I'm just going to be honest. I'm not even going to say that because I don't like something. I just don't. I was never really put in a position to listen to a lot of their stuff. And then once I did, I liked so much more at the time that I guess I just couldn't help myself to compare. And I thought, I kind of like what I'm listening to more than this, which sounds stupid, but I don't know. I've tried several times and I don't know. It doesn't really stick.
Well, when I was like 18 and 19, I got like super into, because like I said earlier, I got into Meshuggah when I was young. Mm-hmm. And that kind of put me on this like path of liking a lot of like mathy stuff. Like I was a really big fan of like Psyopus, and Ion Dissonance is one of my favorite bands ever. Behold the Octopus. I don't know if you've ever heard of those guys. A lot of people rate them as like the worst band of all time. Like literally, they got that title. Like
what about that Dillinger band?
Yeah, you know what, I when I hear them, I like them, but I never really listened to them, which is strange. I liked a lot of Vela Maya's earlier stuff.
Man, that's some weird stuff too.
Yeah, like I remember when their first CD came out. Like I discovered that via MySpace Music, which is something I really miss. So when they came around, it was kind of like easy for me to get into them because I was already into that kind of stuff, and just like really mathy, and they incorporated like soft vocals into them because like, somebody will probably correct me because I'm probably wrong, but they came out around the same time as this band called Genghis Tron, and I think that's when Silent Circus came out, which isn't their first album, so they probably didn't come out around the same time, but Silent Circus was the first one that I listened to, and it's still my favorite one. But they were really easy to kind of fall into for me.
Okay.
Because I like a lot of chaotic stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I like a little more organization. Like I said, even with Scar Symmetry, me saying that earlier, that it just seemed like it was too busy, too much,
Yeah. And
listen to it now, and it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
But at the time, I wasn't used to stuff like that. It's just overload,
Yeah, yeah.
So many different clean vocals and heavy vocals and guitar harmonies and the drums. I wasn't used to listening to drums. There's not a lot of blast beats or anything, but still, there's just a lot of fast drums and fills and just a lot to take in for someone who's jamming the Black Album or.
Yeah. Well, whenever I got into Ion Dissonance, their album Solace, or I can't remember if Breathing is Irrelevant was out then or not, but Solace was like their thing. That was like their thing that they were promoting at that time, and there is no rhyme or reason to that album. Like there's a couple riffs where it's like, oh yeah, all right, cool, and then it's just back to
good luck headbanging to this,
where you're sitting there asking yourself how the drummer remembers that stuff.
Yeah.
And then like I like straightforward stuff because like you can bang your head to it, you can mosh to it, but like my real love is just in like absolute chaos, like cephalic carnage and all that. I love it.
Like some Surreption. I feel like a lot of those riffs are very.
Oh man,
like, I can't follow.
Yeah,
I can't. I love it, but I can't follow it, and it makes me. I gotta go listen to something I can bang my head to.
Yeah, Decrepit Birth has a lot of stuff like that too. They're really good techie death metal as well.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoy that stuff. It's like
I definitely appreciate it. I just can't jam it as much because I want to. I don't know. I just can't sink my teeth into it. It's like I can't hold it. I can't grab it. It's all over the place. You know?
Would hate Behold the Octopus. As a matter of fact, after this, we're going to listen to the song.
Because octopus, because it goes in 8 different directions at once?
I don't know. It's not even octopus. It's arctopus.
I get that.
Yeah.
Arctopus.
So they went from being featured on Guitar World, like when one of their albums came out, they were like on a Guitar World CD. I was like, oh man, they're big business, and everybody hated them because there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just a whole bunch of like random stuff thrown in. It's very musicians' music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you can't appreciate music, you will not like them whatsoever. You know? And I like to pride myself on like listening to a lot of different kinds of musics as well. So they kind of like fit into that niche for me. My go-tos, like when I'm feeling random, is I like to listen to Explosions in the Sky. They're actually one of my favorite go-tos. They're excellent. If you've ever heard of them, you should check them out. They're like,
I've heard the name.
They're very indie instrumental.
Okay.
And I listen to a lot of Leftover Crack.
Is that a band?
Yeah. It's a
You
band.
just listen to Leftover Crack on the back porch. What is this?
It's
Leftover
actually kind of
Crack.
funny. They kind of like have reggae spots in their music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're like crust scum punk. Like
It's disgusting.
It's-
Anything that's labeled crust, it makes me want to just take a shower.
peel it off and eat the white
and not
part.
listen to it. Gross. That's sick.
I meant bread, but I mean, if your mind went there,
My mind just went to skin in general, just crust
you just
and
hear
gross.
you just hear this sound. Yeah, exactly. You know when someone's talking to you with like really bad cotton mouth, and every time they open their mouth, you hear, "Meow, yum 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 yum."
Well,
Yeah, not really nifty.
that's disgusting.
Got any water?
I do need water. Where's the water?
Oh my
I
god.
don't have water in here for my guests. You have bang.
I have a bang, so. I was watching somebody
Dry.
talk one time. Oh man, it was at like a seminar I went to, and they had such bad cotton mouth. And I remember, I was like,
gathering in the corners of the lips.
yes, and I'm like, why? It was like this person who has like millions of dollars too. They're like, I make so much money doing this, and they're just like, it's like,
But I can't afford water.
God. Can you hydrate, please, for the sake of everybody
Just somebody
here?
throws him a bottle of water.
It was making me nauseous. I
in
was
the
like,
head.
oh my god. I can feel how dry this person's mouth
You
is.
get a water gun and just shoot a little water into the mouth.
And they're just like, and blah, 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 blah.
No, I wasn't trying to assassinate him. I'm trying to hydrate.
Yeah, I was trying to help him. God, it sounded terrible. It sounded like the Sahara in his palate.
It's like he's chewing on sand.
Okay, so here's my question to you then. So when you have cotton mouth, you get a little white, it's like, foamy stuff. What is it that old people have gathering in the corner of their mouth that like almost like balls up?
It's probably their life.
It just falls out their mouth. Like each day goes by and just
Yep.
a little bit goes further.
Physically vacating the body.
There goes a week.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Death comes for me.
Old people are gross. I
Some
only
of them.
say that. I only say that because I know I'm gonna be an old people one day, and I'm gonna be gross probably, and that sucks. Because what the hell are you gonna do about it? You can't do a whole lot. I know my attitude would be like, I'm fucking old. I don't care.
I wear a diaper.
Change my diaper.
Did you know that the place where herpes is spread the most
Ew.
are retirement homes? Did you know that?
I guess because you have it forever.
No,
and
because they
you-
just like all have sex there.
Oh.
Apparently there's like old people orgies that go on there. I cannot remember who told me this, but it's somebody who works in like old people homes and stuff
Just
like
walk
that.
in on a. Whoa!
I mean, what else do you do there? I can't do anything, but my penis gets hard.
Well, yeah, or it's like an event to celebrate. Like, guys, it's hard today.
Susan!
Come, whoever wants some, come get some.
Oh, wait, no, they're old people. So, Ingrid!
Yeah. Dolores.
Oh, my God. Dolores! It's hard! Is that a fever blister?
Road Trip? That movie? When they visited
that is a
the
movie.
old couple, and the guy gets up and he has a boner. He was watching some like bikini commercial or something.
Oh, my God, I don't
And
know.
he gets over and like knocks something over. But she's like, oh, yup. The wife, she's like, your boner. And he's like, what do you want me to do? Cut it off? Like, fuck, I'm old and it's here.
But think about that though. You go into an old folks' home. You're like, oh man, this is gonna suck. And then like when the lights go out, everybody's shuffling around in their slippers. They're like, hey,
Who's getting dirty tonight?
it always smells like chicken broth in here because we have to cover the smell of sex.
That's disgusting. Pardon me a moment. I have to blow my nose.
Oh my god.
This is a new roll of toilet paper. Do you know anybody that says toilet?
No, but the one that gets me is wash.
What?
You need a glass of water. You need to go wash something.
What about a pillow?
Oh, pillow?
Yeah, like
How do you say tour?
tour?
Yeah.
Tour.
Yeah, tour.
Tour.
I like really pronounce the ooh. Tour.
Tour.
I don't know what it is. I can't say it
my
any
mouth
other
would
way.
have to move a lot weirder.
Tour.
2 hour.
2 hour. 2 hour.
Once we go on tour. Go to the different place and
We are
go on tour.
We are on le tour.
That was when I was on tour.
I have an idea for you, and Candace is going to probably be like, why are you telling my people all your good ideas?
Don't
I've got
tell
a
everybody.
lot of them. I'm going to, because this one's really good, and it probably won't ever see the light of day with me, and if somebody can produce it, great.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, bad Russian porno.
Oh.
Like, don't actually have porno, but like knocks on the door, and the chick opens it, and he's like in a plumber's outfit, and he's like, you know, looking like he's about to have sex. He's like, hello, I am here to, how you say, clean your pipes.
To fix the plumbing.
Yeah, we are going to say how you fornicate.
Plumbing.
I'd like you to put my penis in your vagina.
That makes me think of the what's his face from the Minions. Like, you're a pretty girl. Very pretty girl.
Oh, or it's like, have you seen the oh my God. Have you seen the one where he's got a twin?
Yeah.
Grow. Oh my God! I love impressions. I love them so much.
That's a whole other podcast
Dude,
that I want to do. Is just voices
Oh
and stuff.
boy! Oh boy!
But see, it's like I get stage fright when I want to sit down and do it. I can't force myself to do it. It has to be a little bit more natural.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
All natural,
So,
grass fed.
grass fed. So I am like really good at Smeagol impressions. Gollum. My precious. I can do it on command. I actually got into a competition with a friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, I do it really good too. And he was
Oh.
actually very, very good at it. I
Okay,
couldn't even argue.
Let's do it then, because I think I'm okay at it.
Oh, yeah.
So what do we? Gollum is the nasty one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how about quotes?
Oh, God, yes. I'm totally down for this.
Gollum quotes.
This is happening.
We swears. We swears to serve the master of the precious. We will swear on the precious. Now the Sabbath burns us. When you torture us, precious. We swear to serve the master of the precious.
Yeah, that's what you did.
That's good. That's it. You swore on the precious. Smeagol promised.
Smeagol lied.
Yeah.
All dead, all rotten, elves and men and orcs. A great battle long ago, the dead Martians. Yes, that is their name. Master betrayed us. Wicked, tricksy force. We are to rule this fake little nut. Fat hermit. He stole it from us. Brackens. Master should be resting. Master needs to keep up his strength. Mustn't ask us. Mustn't answer. What's Taylor's precious? What's Taylor's precious?
It's so good. Did you see him on that talk show, late night talk show, where he was reading Trump tweets in The Voice?
Oh, no.
It was
so good,
was
though.
just like 2 tweets, but it was really good. Really good.
He also did one for the Prime Minister of Britain or
Oh, okay.
England.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, you could pretty much read anything. Of course, it would be good. I'm sure.
That guy has such a he's such a character, man. You know, he was
Planet of the Apes.
yeah,
guy.
what his name is.
I have not seen a single one of those remakes or whatever.
Really,
they are.
the remakes.
None of them.
The remakes are really good. Actually, I really liked them a lot.
I don't remember hearing anything that great or
Caesar.
that bad, honestly. So
Yeah, Caesar. That's his name.
Okay.
I could not remember. But yeah, it was really good. And then he was a bad guy in a movie I watched, where he was actually like himself, like him in his like not CGI
Right.
form.
I'm trying to think because I want to say I've seen something too recently, or maybe I saw that he was in something. I didn't actually see the
It was
movie.
an action movie, and I was like, oh shit, that's Gollum. He'll never be anything else. That's Gollum.
Yeah, just like Thor. We talked about that before. It's like, oh, that's Thor.
Fat Thor.
It's like, no, that's not his name. No, he's Thor. No matter what he's in now, that's Thor.
Oh yeah, I don't even know his. Chris Hemsworth?
Yes.
Oh, I do know his name. I'm a liar now.
You've messed it up real good.
Damn it. But yeah, totally Thor. And then
Iron Man.
What's his name? Will forever be called. Oh, you don't know anything because you haven't watched Game of Thrones. That's right.
Yeah, Dragon Boy.
No, there's the guy who played Aquaman. He was.
What's his face?
Called Drogo.
Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
He's got like 10 kids.
He is.
That is too many.
He seems like a cool dude.
I've actually heard he's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like he's just does not give a
But
shit
he has
about
way too many kids.
so many kids.
Like, you know, I do want more kids, you know, like 4. Not 4 more, not 4 more, like 4 total. Like
Yeah.
4 total. And then like
It's a whole team. I
and then
guess.
like I might just like snip myself. I don't know. Like I might just get fixed, so I'm still shooting, but I'm just shooting blanks. There's no swimmers.
Probably probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean like you know.
That's a new song.
No, I was sitting here like thinking of whether or not I should go down the road of this story I was about to tell because I know Candace is going to listen to this podcast. But I totally told Candace when I got her pregnant. I totally told her. I was like, "You're pregnant."
And now you're pregnant.
3 months later, we found out she was pregnant. I was like, "Told you."
And then you're like, oh, whoops.
No, actually, I was really excited.
Oh,
we were
okay,
like,
good.
we were like
That's good.
trying.
That's good.
Well, trying, not trying. Like, I don't know.
you
It was
weren't,
kind of a
you
cool.
weren't not trying. Well, maybe.
Well, I want to say that it, half consciously and subconsciously we were, but like outwardly we were kind of like, no, well, we'll see what happens.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I pull out game week, bro. That's too much. I'm sorry, Candace.
Well, maybe the rest.
They're like sitting there like, don't come at me. I'm like, okay, I'll pull it out, and be like, where's it at? Oh, damn it! I did it again.
I can't do it.
Whoopsies! Oh my god. It's like but yeah, that's too many kids, man. 7
That is a
or
lot of
8 or
kids,
9.
man. I don't. My parents asked me about one kid. When are we gonna have a kid? When are you gonna have a grandbaby? I don't know. It's not on my priority list, and I can't afford anything for myself.
Yeah, that's how I was
I'm-
too, and then I had kids, and it's just
Well, I mean,
that much
you make
worse.
it. Yeah, I mean, you do what you got to do. It's like
Yeah.
your car breaks down, you got to get a new car. Can't afford a new car, but you make it work. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I understand that. But you're dealing with another life. You have to do something and not throw it in a fucking trash can like some people do.
Yeah, gross. I
Anyway,
I worked with this lady or this chick. She was a little bit older than me. She was like in her late 30s. And I was like, "How many kids do you have?" She's like, "I have 9 kids." Like, oh my god, why? She's like, "Oh, I didn't want to." She's like, "I had 5, and then she got a hysterectomy. She had another one." I'm like, "Okay, it's just a fluke." Had another one. Then her dude got fixed. Had another one.
What?
Yes, she had to literally just get her stuff take it.
take it
She
out.
didn't have a hysterectomy. She had her tubes tied, and she kept on getting pregnant. And then she had a
Right.
hysterectomy where they actually take it out. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then she stopped having kids.
I was gonna say she was meant to have children. These kids have to be something.
Yeah, you are literally
revolutionary.
You are like the final destination of having babies. It's just gonna happen.
That's the kind of person you want to send to Mars or wherever else they can help populate.
That is such a good point, though.
Like super fertile.
Yeah,
people.
like your eggs are like coming out in droves. Like,
yeah.
my mom was telling me about this lady. She knows she had one baby, and then she had twins, and then she had triplets. And I was like, tell her to stop.
Yeah. Save it for the next planet.
Yeah, save some babies for the. Yeah, it's it. Whenever you get to 8, we're gonna send you off somewhere.
I mean, because we don't have any room here. We're done.
Yeah, no.
I don't think we're going to be able to do Mars, though. I think we've already been to Mars, and it was unsafe to live, and everybody died, and then we went to Earth.
What if
that happened?
What if we aren't the first people to become like we are now, and technology was far advanced?
Oh, I believe
and then
that.
we'd, like,
I've heard that recently.
broke
I
down.
totally believe that. Like something bad happened, an event happened that wiped everything out, or maybe not the entire civilization was that advanced, but there was an advanced civilization in this world.
Well, you know,
and
it's like
that is what got wiped out, and it never got to carry on. So you start from zero again.
Yeah, and
basically.
you know, it's like the theory of the Anunnaki, like aliens came here and they like made us and stuff like that, just kind of like be slaves, and then we, you know, rose up or
It's like
whatever.
an experiment or something.
Yeah, you know, the Egyptian gods and stuff like that. You know, what if we had? Because there's a lot of unexplained things, like that one rock that's completely square that has like saw blade marks on the side of it or whatever. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, like, you know, things like that. What if like we were super advanced and then they took it all?
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, fend for yourselves. Now you guys got to make spears out of rocks and sticks.
Or they were just here and they helped do something, and then we observed what they were using and then tried to replicate, you know, some of that with what we had, which is fucking dirt and rocks and sticks, you know. But then you just keep on thinking about what you can come up with, and then
Well, yeah, you know,
slowly but surely
I think it was
we're still not there.
the Mayans or the Aztecs or something like that had like batteries and light bulbs.
Oh.
I don't know if they had light bulbs, but I know they had batteries, like things that generated electricity, and they like used them. So, yeah, isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah.
Man, what is it they say? There's nothing new under the sun.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Who's they?
Everyone. Everyone. It's one of those, you know, phrases like, nothing new under the sun. This too shall pass. You know, one of those things that just people...
Sounds like you've never been in a cave. There's all sorts of shit you've never seen, and the sun hasn't touched it. Maybe it has.
All right. There's like some subterranean...
Maybe about 80,000 million, billion, trillion years ago or something. I don't know.
Doesn't that suck, though?
Do you think...
We've like literally seen every inch of the surface of the planet of the Earth.
Yeah.
There's like nothing new to discover in that
Well,
aspect.
except for the oceans. The oceans have...
Like underneath it.
Well, the bottom of them. And I don't think we've explored...
I think we haven't explored.
It's
It's like
a
only
small
30% that we've explored.
Yeah, a small percentage. So, I mean, there's all sorts of huge things out there, I bet.
So this album that was actually originally going to be about...
Oh, that's what I was thinking about when you told me before.
Yeah.
The concept that you
Yeah,
had.
it was originally it was supposed to be about this like hyper intelligent octopod species that lived around the thermal vents at the bottom of the ocean, and like they fed on. It talked about how they. When I was writing, it talked about how they eat like Hoff crabs and stuff like that, and they use tools, and like we killed them, or we brought them here and they died, and we like dissected them trying to figure out like how they existed, like where they come from and stuff like that. And when we go to drill down in there to find them, we find their civilization, and then they come up here and they take over.
They're like, it feels pretty good up here. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, fuck Hoff crabs.
Yeah.
We could have like steak.
Human.
Yeah, human.
And we're like, no, cows, eat those.
They didn't speak English though. It talked about how they communicated by scratching and clicking their beaks.
Ew.
Yeah.
That means you're gonna die.
Yeah. Kill.
Well, they have 8 limbs, right?
They also
True octopi odds.
They-
Octopod osses.
They also had like bioweapons. like
Okay.
poisonous spears that they shot out, kind of like cuttlefish.
They charge with the energy of the inner earth.
Mm-hmm.
Liquid hot magma.
Well, like, have you ever seen a cuttlefish eat?
No.
They've got this thing that they shoot out, and it goes whack, and it sticks to the fish, and then they bring it in and they eat it.
Yeah.
So they
I have seen that.
They had that, and then they also had like
trying to
the
think of
active
what that looks
camouflage.
like. Isn't it kind of a chunky boy?
Yeah, they like swim like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like angled down.
Hi guys.
Hey, I'm a bit.
I'm new to the neighborhood.
I'm a friend. I'm not gonna. Done.
Look at me. I'm not hiding anything. You can see all my feet. I don't even have a mouth.
Yeah. There's no way I can eat you.
Don't mind me. I'm not strange because I have blue blood. Isn't that weird?
Blue blood.
Yeah, they have blue
We
blood.
all have blue blood, right?
No.
Isn't that how it's supposed to work? Isn't
No,
it
no.
blue until it?
No. It's always red.
Oxygen.
It's always red.
I feel like that was something that was told before.
Well, they used it to differentiate the systems whenever, you're looking at like a map of all of our, veins and stuff like
Inner
that.
workings.
Yeah, because one set of veins does go out and one
Correct.
goes in.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was just a
So it's
color
less
representation.
confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not like, all right, which does which?
Maybe I have to be thinking about like an animal or something specific that has blue blood, but if it's
Octopods.
oxygen, it turns red.
I don't know. I think octopod blood just stays blue.
Maybe it was a movie. Maybe it was a magazine. Maybe it was a dream. Either way, it's embedded in my head somewhere.
It's there. It
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah, I just pulled it out of my filing cabinet in my head. Blue blood.
That's you going through the files.
Found it.
Extra. Read all about it.
There's no blue blood.
Blood turns blue until it hits the air.
I like doing Manhattan or like New Yorker stuff. Yeah, I've been doing this phrase the last few days. Dick tissue.
Dick tissue.
I just want to show you my dick tissue.
That's gross.
I know. I don't know. I started doing it at band practice earlier this week, and I don't know what happened. It just came to that.
Something.
I'm walking over here. Can't you see my dick tissue?
I'm playing over here. Stepping on my cable. There was something that we did. I forgot who picked it up from where, but it was. Have you seen my new watch?
Oh, Terry from Reno 911. Oh, what is it? Nick Swartzen?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Nick Swartzen. And he put his dick over it.
Yeah. See my new watch?
The guy got angry and he was like, no, look at my watch. You should show my boyfriend. He was like, okay.
Okay. Oh man.
The way he does that, he's like, okay. He's just like waddling, like acting like his dick's on his watch. I used to do things like, I used to do stupid stuff like that. I'd like wad my like scrotum sack up and like have it hanging out my pants a little bit and be like, oh, I got gum on my pants.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, or I just hang them out and be like, look, a bullfrog.
How did those get there? Yeah. There was somebody that we used to work with that was taking lunch. It's on a job site. I guess the building was almost finished and there was rolls of carpet in there. So I think he was like sitting on one of the rolls of carpet in this room. It's dark, but he never wore underwear and he had holes in his pants.
Oh my God.
So the story goes, I was sitting in this room and I have a hole in my crotch, and he said I noticed my balls were starting to come out a little bit, so I went ahead and pulled them out and then like sucked them back in using your core muscles, like suck them back up,
Like the one that flexes your butthole and your wiener. Those muscles.
Yeah.
Male Kegels.
yeah. So he said he did that a couple of times, and then after like the third time that he did that, he looked up and realized someone else was in there.
Oh my God.
He said the guy had this look on his face like, what the fuck are you doing?
So I have two stories to counter that. First story is I was working on a construction site one time and I was like laying down because I was done with my portion of the job, and I was laying down and I had my legs like, my knees up, kind of like out. And these guys walk by and they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Turns out I didn't wear underwear either. And I didn't know it, but I was just hanging out of my pants. Second story. I go into Guitar Center to buy my didgeridoo. And I'm walking through and I'm wearing these pajama pants. And I'm like, it's just how I used to go around. I just wore pajama pants everywhere. I didn't give a fuck. So I walk in and I'm like talking. I buy the didgeridoo, whatever. And like, it was in the drum department where this was, and the guy was like holding a pair of sticks, and they were the demo sticks. I was like, "Hey man, do you mind if I like get those demo sticks to like play the drums over here? I'd like to do that before I leave, just like to fuck around." He was like, "Cool man, yeah." He looks down at the drumsticks and he looks up at me. He goes, "Hey dude, your dick's hanging out." I go, "What? Oh,
That one.
I was like, "Oh no." I don't need those sticks anymore. I need to leave. The question is, though, how long was my dick out? Like, how long was I in that predicament and had no idea? Like, people were like, look, Mom! Avert your eyes, sweetheart.
Look at the Gibsons.
It's so small.
Look at the
What kind of guitar is that?
Well, that's a skin flute, son.
There was a...
I've been through so much crazy stuff. I tell my story sometimes to people at work, and this guy's like, "Dude, you need to write a book." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to mention names or anything.
Yeah,
It's
just hey, I've seen some craziness, man."
just call it "This Is My Life."
Yeah. Well, I wanted to call it Theory of a Mudman.
Okay, yeah, go for it. How about SIS? Shit I've seen.
Not a bad one.
Sis.
But you're gonna have to edit this out, so when I steal it, you can't be like,
I'll edit both of those out.
Yeah.
No one will do it.
But
It'll be like, what if we call it?
yeah. What did they call it? Give people anxiety about it. What they
Is
start
it called
messaging.
beep? Is it really beep? Is it a noise? How are they going to do that? You open the cover and it's like beep.
It's just a blank cover.
Yeah.
By Stephen Mashburn.
This is it.
Yeah.
Beep.
I'm actually kind of like working on a book right now. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. It's gonna be pretty good. Just about things that I've gone through in my life and stuff like that, and other parties involved. It's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know if I'm too ready to talk about what it's about yet.
No,
but
that's fine.
But it's gonna be it's interesting. I think it'll be something
Based on true events.
Yes. Yeah, definitely based on true events, and I'm really excited about it. So every now and then I'll like sit there and like add more to it, and it's pretty cool. But a memoir or a what is it, autobiography?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you write it about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do that at some point. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
When I was on drugs,
The first time that
I was awake for 2 weeks at this point.
That's scary.
I've never stayed up that long.
Okay.
No, I stayed up a week one time though.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when you start seeing things.
I believe
Well,
it.
actually, you start seeing things about 4 days in, 3 days. Depends.
Depends on what else you have going on.
Yeah, depends on what else you have going on in your life. Oh my God, so many things. Oh.
Yeah, I've really wanted to write a book or write something. I've been writing a lot more stuff down, or I say writing down and put it in my phone.
Yeah, in a
Notes,
recording.
The notes app. I'll just write it out in text form. But I've got movie ideas, like movie scene ideas, book ideas, or maybe like a blog idea.
Do you?
Hello?
No.
Hey Siri.
Yeah. Do you ever? Hold on. Let's see. Do you ever do this?
No, 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 no.
It's like riff ideas.
Only the
Damn.
the mouth ones.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like this.
Pick it up what I'm putting down. Yeah, exactly.
It's called Poppy.
Poppy. That's what
Yeah.
you called it.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
As in like pop.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
yeah.
It's like it's something. It's like a hook of some sort.
Like, have you ever heard Poppy?
Poppy.
Yeah.
Like Poppy.
There's no. Hey, Poppy. No, there's a girl. She calls herself Poppy, and she's like really weird on YouTube. She's like, "Hi, I'm Poppy."
Yeah, that is super creepy.
Yeah, she actually has a song that I thoroughly enjoy.
I'm Poppy.
Do you like money?
I do. Send it to me.
I'm really sad.
And it's just like very monotone and weird.
Cry, cry.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't like it. I hate it. No, I think I've seen like a couple of little clips or something, but I don't want the whole thing. I don't need it.
She has a song called "Low Life." I actually
Okay.
really enjoy it. It's kind of like reggae-ish.
Okay. What about Billie Eilish?
I've heard snippets of her music, but I hear her music is like super like sex infused or like sexual or something. I don't know. The last person I talked to about Billie Eilish was like, it's just weird that somebody that young is singing like this. Or about
I feel like
this.
there's some innuendos and such, but
I
maybe
like
not that blatant.
I like
I
her
don't even know how
visuals.
old she is. I was like, is she under 20 or
She's
21 or
17.
something? Really? Still that young?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's very young. I don't know how much she's written though. I don't know what she does. Like, did she write all the lyrics? Did she write melodies? Did she write the music? Did she help do stuff? I have no idea. But
don't
people
either.
like to. I feel like there's a lot of discrediting because she's a quote whisper singer, you know. But not everybody can whisper in key.
A whisper
not that she's
singer?
not going to have auto tune or something. It's just very like, it's very low singing.
Kind of like Lana
So it's
Del
not.
Rey.
There's not a
Oh,
whole
I
lot
guess
of
Lana Del Rey
not a
doesn't
whole
really
lot
do
of
that.
really full voice
Yeah.
stuff. But if you see live videos, she's doing it full voice and and singing. So it's not like it's a studio monster or something.
Well,
I've said it a couple of times to different people. It just scratches a different itch. I don't listen to
Mm-hmm.
that type of music, so it was different. I liked it.
I really, like I said, I really like her like visuals, like how she has like spiders crawling in her mouth,
Yeah.
and, like black stuff coming out of her eyes. Anything that's like that, I enjoy.
Yeah,
You know?
different.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's different. It's just more like in my realm of things that I look for. You know, I really like disturbing and gross and satanic imagery. Like that's just kind of things that I enjoy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Not something you'd see in the forefront mostly.
Yeah, exactly. And she's in the forefront doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think on who else was doing that. Triple X Temptation started doing that towards the end, where he was like doing crazy things with his hair and like, you know, Marilyn Manson-esque stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I mean, a lot of people do it, but like people who are like really out in the foreground, like you said, don't really do it that much.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see that, it's kind of cool. But
Or if they want to, someone else is like, it's probably not a good business choice. Don't do that. Don't do that. We want to attract the younger generation.
yeah, exactly. But the younger generation's getting darker and bleaker. Yeah, I like it.
In some ways, sure. I feel like some ways are a little bit more self-damaging. I think depression gets talked about too much, or like suicide and depression. It's just joked about too much. I mean, not talked about. It's good to talk about it, but I feel like it's like, I'm gonna kill myself. You know, like I've joked about that before, but some people, it's so constant that you could either be desensitized to it because you hear it so much you don't think anything about it, or I mean, is it really a cry for help, or is it, I don't know, I just feel like it's exaggerated and used too much.
Well, you know,
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I think that there is an issue in this country with like mental health problems, you know, and a lot of the stuff we're just starting to discover it, you know, we're just starting to understand that, you know, not necessarily that it's not normal to think certain ways or to do certain things or to react or anything like that, but like there's a reason why you do it. And you can help yourself get away from the negative side of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, there's medications to help with depression now. There's medications that help with, like, all sorts of different things. Anxiety, like if you have anxiety. But like I think that something that we as a country and as a people kind of don't do is like really. I think everybody should have a therapist. I think that that's like something that a lot of people are super prideful and don't want to do, but it helps me. It helps everybody that I know.
And you, it helps to get a different perspective in general from anybody, honestly, even if they're not even giving input. It's just getting it out there, because otherwise you're just you're just keeping it in your head, but I feel like a therapy session where you're conversing with somebody is better than just taking a pill trying to make it go away. In a lot of cases, some people are just going to go, I'll just do the pill. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of a therapist, or if this works, it works. And then you have the side effects of suicidal thoughts and anal bleeding or whatever the case is. And I don't want to take this anymore. And then you're still depressed.
Well, you stop taking it, then you're even more depressed than when you started out, because your body's like trying to switch back to the way it goes.
Yeah. I mean, and then the imbalance is even more imbalanced, but now in a different way or something.
Yeah.
There's no telling.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about stuff and being more aware of the mental problems and mental, I guess, blocks of some sort, where you seem like you can't get past something. I can't stop thinking about this. And
it's just nice sometimes to hear somebody say it's normal.
Yeah, or it's okay.
It's okay.
And
it's okay.
And
Everybody,
it is okay.
Yeah, everybody does that, or everybody feels that way, or everybody thinks that, because I think a lot of problems that we have, as well as like we all. Everybody, when we're young, we all kind of shut each other down a lot, so we don't feel like some things are okay, and we don't think that we're normal, and and a lot of that's not also like outside influence, but like we tell ourselves that because we don't know ourselves when we're really young, and then it just kind of carries over to when we're old, and we can't express that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, or did I kind of go everywhere?
I think I got it.
Okay. I'm starting to realize in my life I have a really bad problem with disassociation, so when I talk, I just kind of like trail off sometimes and don't realize it.
I think we all do that. As long as you can
it's normal.
rope it back into where you're supposed to go. It's okay. It's going to be normal and okay.
Yeah. I always go back to Good Will Hunting when he's like, it's not your fault. Have you ever had somebody just say that to you? It is a experience, and it doesn't matter if it's like in jest or whatever, but like just to have somebody say that to you, I don't care who you are. It does something.
Like comforting something? Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like a relief.
Yeah. Like, it's not your fault, man.
If you do a podcast, you should do that. Just do one episode of It's Not Your Fault.
Just like for like 2 hours, just say that over and over again?
No. It's not your fault.
No, bro. It's really not your fault.
No,
Just
I totally see
say that very monotone. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
I am a human.
It's not your fault. Precious.
I am calling about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah.
I am definitely not a robot.
I am that comedian sex doll. It is not your fault.
Ha 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 ha.
So, I have to ask this question. Does she have sex with herself?
I don't think that was addressed. I don't...
that would have been my first question.
That was probably... I'm pretty sure that went through my head at one point, because I think she said she got it for several reasons, but one was for her husband, too. And then I think she said that he pretty much hates it. Like, don't like it. Makes me want to vomit when it's in the same room.
What?
I don't know. She paid $100,000 for that thing.
Oh my God.
$6,000, she says, for the body, because it's just a sex doll.
And then the
body.
rest of it was just
$30,000 for the head, and the rest was all just
programming and stuff.
Well, programming and making even the body, like adjusting the body to be more like her body. So
dude, that's so weird.
That's very weird.
Dude, that is like so weird. Like, hey Steven, I got this for you for when I leave and stuff. You can still have sex with not me. Thanks. Have you ever seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
No. Is it old or new?
It's older, yeah. It's all about he falls in love with an AI, like an OS, an operating system.
No.
Oh yeah, you should watch that. It's really good. I think it's on Netflix.
Interesting.
It's a really good movie. Me and the old ball and chain, we watched it, and it was like really good. I was like,
He called you ball and chain.
I like finding new and creative ways to say this. My partner in crime. My POC.
My other half.
My PIC.
My better half.
Yeah, I usually say my other half.
My life partner.
Yeah. I'm writing all these down mentally so I can say them later.
What are you using to write them down? A pen or pencil?
They just kind of appear.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How visual are you with this note taking?
Yeah. Not very. It's like typewriter letters on plain white paper, and they're just
I pictured cursive for
Did
some
you?
reason. Yeah.
cursive. Wow. You know what?
Because
I think it says a lot about a person and how they imagine how they take notes.
I don't write in cursive. I think it looks awesome if done well.
Yeah.
I used to be able
agree.
to write cursive, but I can't really anymore. I would like to start again.
I actually practice cursive. Whenever I'm writing letters or notes, I write in cursive most of the time.
That's cool.
Unless it's like really long, in which case it starts off a little bit cursive, then it's like print. Like,
Gibberish.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I feel like I remember a lot of the letters, but I don't remember the proper way to connect them from letter to letter. Sometimes it looks really gross. So I just crumble the paper up and don't do it anymore.
Fuck it. My normal writing it's kind of like half cursive, half print anyway. So I just got like something that.
Yeah, just kind of ties together naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom writes like that, so I guess I kind of picked that up from her, which is weird. Yeah, my mom's left-handed too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so am I.
Wait, you are too?
Mm-hmm. I'm a lefty. That's
Have
why
you-
when I'm like, my right arm hurts, people are like, it's because you jerk off too much. I'm like, I'm left-handed.
We were talking about that yesterday because Chantel's dad is left-handed. I didn't realize that until yesterday when I saw him writing his name. He works in the architect field, so he would draw and write stuff. So he's talking about how when he used to write on plans, you'd end up running your hand across what you just wrote so it would smudge. So you just kind of develop a position for your hand to not smudge and not writing and stuff. And it's always weird for me to watch left-handed people write.
I actually
very
like
different.
stretch my fingers out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I keep my hand on the side of the paper, but I stretch my fingers out.
Weird.
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't be able to keep it that.
And I do it, and then like if I can't do that, like if it's a paper's real wide, I'll hover my hand. Whoa. Yeah.
You gotta have a firm base, man. You can't do that.
Well, look at me.
You gotta have that firm base.
I know nothing but firm.
I am firm.
I am firm.
Welcome to my firm.
I'm the firm, starring Tom Cruise.
Law firm.
I
That's
will
what it
hammer
was.
and hammer and hammer.
Mateo de Teos.
I every now and then I'll have my radio station on 104.5 whenever I jam rap sometimes. So like I'll leave work whenever I was working nights, and it would be on like their daytime show, and like the ads for it were like, call a car wreck cowboy.
Oh my god. I don't dig the radio stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
me
there's some podcasts that I feel like I've listened to that are more radio, the vibe. It's more morning radio type. I don't like it. Too many noises, too many. No, I guess some of it sounds kind of fake, exaggerated a little bit. I don't like that.
I liked the Russ Martin show. That was pretty good.
I could tolerate that. He's not. I don't feel like it was just ever like super standard. What I didn't like, which he obviously didn't give a shit about, is there's so much dead airspace on his show. Yes.
Yeah.
I keep like to the point where I'm looking at the radio. Is it
Is
it on?
And then he'll just like make it sound like, man.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Like I called in one time, I don't remember, and I said something really stupid, and they aired it, and then like I got off the phone, and they were pretty much like talking bad about me the whole time on the radio. It's like, oh come on! I've been on 3 different radio stations. I've been on Radio Disney. I've been on the Russ Martin show, and then I was on Loveline one time.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, totally made up story. I just wanted to have something crazy, so I'd get on the radio, and it worked.
Awesome.
But I have been on Jerry Springer, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
it was ridiculous.
Good times.
Yeah, that was so stupid. I'm gonna run for president one day, and that's gonna come out of the woodworks. Vote for me. You were on Jerry Springer.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That old band was on. We were on The Edge one morning. We won a battle of the bands. Different group of guys, but two of the guys were still in school, and I came in late to work because it was we went there in the morning.
Yeah.
And Bowling for Soup was there.
Oh, wow.
They joined us as well.
All the bad guys want.
They're used to being on the radio, so they're just like lively, and we're just kind of like, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was super awkward. I didn't know what to do.
I'm rusty.
But it was the Jagger show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I want to get on that show that they have on Cartoon Network where they're like playing in front of the fish tank. Oh my God, Dying Fetus has been on there. Anal, what are they called? Anal. Anal Nothrock or whatever it is.
Nargarth.
Anal
Karakaragan.
I don't know. One of those black metal juggalo
Aragorn.
bands. One of those juggalo bands.
Yeah. With
They
the
get up
lovely
there.
paint.
We believe in Satan and clown love. Whoop whoop. We love the clown.
I actually was starting a black metal solo project, and it was going to be juggalo themed. I'm neither a juggalo. Well, I like black metal now, but I didn't then. And it was going to be, juggalo themed black metal, and it was called Shangri-La, which is the juggalo's version of heaven. And I had a song called what was it? From Fago, She Sips. And, it was actually really good. I had a whole bunch of people tell me, they're like, it's sad. It's a shame that this is a joke. And I was going to do it black and white it makeup. Like Pennywise.
Yeah.
And that was going to be my whole shtick.
Yeah, that's a different kind of clown there. I like that.
Yeah.
That would be accurate.
Yeah, it starts off. You know,
Yeah,
it's
perfect.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if I have it on my phone or not.
Definitely still do it.
I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
It's actually really good. Like I was sitting there recording it, and I was laughing while I was recording it. But
you could at least do an EP or something.
Yeah. Well, I had the video in my head for kind of telling people about it, and it was like me with the Pennywise makeup, but from the nose down, and a smile. Let's be honest, I got a janked up mouthful of teeth. Okay, so just smiling with my janked up teeth with black and white video, but slow motion of me smiling with black stuff pouring out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was like that's how I envision me
that would be good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So maybe I'll do that one day. I'm kind of busy with everything else at the moment.
Yeah.
So
yeah, send me the track, then maybe I'll have some ideas.
I will.
I could share. See what pops into my head.
Oh my God. Oh man.
What else are you doing today?
I don't know. What time is it?
I don't know.
Maybe if it's nice when I get home, maybe we'll go to the pool or something.
I was trying to see what.
Spend some. Maybe I'll rent a movie and watch it with the kids, and spend some time with my family. Turn my phone off, stay off my computer.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Family FaceTime, literal FaceTime.
Yeah, literal FaceTime. So, I've been busy so much this weekend, and this week has been kind of hectic, and next week I'm recording, and so.
Recording for the album?
Yeah. Yeah, we're finishing up this week, hopefully. Awesome. And then, I made a video about getting off of Facebook and stuff like that, and I've since reacclimated. But I really try and when I'm home, be home.
Yeah.
Except for when I practice guitar, and then I'm leave me alone.
Get out of my home.
Daddy, who is that?
Daddy's not here now.
Yeah.
I'm playing guitar.
Yeah. No, I need to start
I'm
teaching.
just kidding. Come on.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Bring it on in.
Hold on, I'll set this down. Come on.
No, I need to start teaching my kids some musical instruments and stuff like that. I think they could really benefit. But right now we're doing the whole Muay Thai thing all together and
That's
stuff.
Still good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They earned their first bands, and they didn't just give it to them. They actually earned it by knowing how to do stuff. So
awesome.
I was kind of I teared up whenever I was watching it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotional.
Yeah, it's
As an ocean.
Yeah, it's all water-eyed.
Yeah.
I'd have posted
What's
videos.
the
that have
stuff
videos
coming out
it.
of my eyes?
Yeah, it's dusty in here. Who's chopping onions? You looked how happy I was when I found out I had a boner.
Boner time.
Margaret.
Look, I still get a bunch of stickers over there. You want one?
Yeah. Edna.
Dolores. Martha.
Oh my God. Penelope.
What did we start out with?
Why did I? What? The whole like.
Or the whole conversation. I mean,
Like
from
the very beginning of this conversation.
Yeah, besides age and what you do.
Oh my God, what was the second thing that we talked about? Was it no, it wasn't the album. Yeah, it was. Was it?
I don't know.
My diet.
That's what it was.
My diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had to ask. I was trying to think of kind of like a sequence of what we did. But I'm lost.
This whole podcast has been random.
I love it though.
Yeah.
Especially when I listen back and I edit stuff, which, I try to edit out mouth noises and breathing and extended periods of silence and such.
Yeah.
But it really gives me an idea of how one gets from one place to the next. I notice, like, wow, that was an interesting transition, or trying to think of what I was thinking about at that moment that made me mention this next thing. Or
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Like
And
how did we get there?
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting to see.
The whole journey.
Yeah. Understanding the human brain, the human mind. I don't want to say brain anymore. Mind.
Mind.
I feel like the mind and brain could be...
Well, the brain is the
completely-
organ. The mind is what's within, right?
Right. Completely separate entity. I mean, is your mind really... When you close your eyes and you meditate or think about stuff, are you in your brain? Are you behind your eyes? Or are you in your chest? Or are you somewhere else? Or
Or are you looking
What?
at yourself on the outside?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that? Anyone listening, have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Answer me.
Anyone listening, send me old women names so I can continue to make jokes about how old people have sex. What's another good one?
Juniper. We call it June.
Maple!
Oh, do you have Amazon Prime? Do you
Yes.
watch shows on that?
No.
You should.
Mahogany, come here!
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. You should watch that.
What is it?
It's really good. It's about an old comedian
Oh.
chick. I think it's loosely based on
I hate that word.
what is her name? Joan Rivers?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's based on some of her things that she's...
I'm Joan Rivers.
Oh, man. Sometimes I just
I
realize
think
how
that's what it
stupid I am.
was. But yeah, interesting. It's like her becoming a comedian or wanting to be in comedy, and she plays the part really well.
Like, the thing that sucks about Amazon Prime is I don't trust their originals yet. Like Netflix originals, I can normally watch them and like, enjoy them normally.
Correct. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not afraid to jump into something. Hulu, their originals, if I hear about them, I watch them. But Amazon, I see their originals and I'm like,
Nothing has really hooked me that I can think of. I think there might be one or two that I watched that I enjoyed, but I can't even think of the names. So obviously it wasn't, that spectacular.
yeah, I use Amazon Prime to like rent new movies. I'm like, oh, I can rent this for $4 and watch it at home.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch it. Oh, I wonder if Detective Pikachu is on there yet. Anyways.
Chicka Chicka Pikachu. That's one thing I never got into.
Pokemon?
Any sort of Pokemon, anime, anything.
Oh, man.
I've only seen Akira
Great movie.
forever ago. I mean, forever ago. And what's the other one? That freaking weird movie, Spirit something.
Spirited Away?
Yes, that one.
It's a great one.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it, but like that's as deep as I've dived. Dove in.
I'm super into Pokemon. It's me. But I've watched a lot of. Well, I say a lot, but not really that many series, but like enough series to be like, hey, I watch anime.
Yeah.
I always hate the endings of them. The people who do anime, I guess that's how I should say, always end it so sad or strange. And you're sitting there like, yeah, you're sitting there like, okay. I guess
It is what it is.
Yeah, I guess I had to be happy with that. Like I watched
The purpose is not to make you happy. The purpose is to entertain you and show you a story, and that's just how the story goes. Sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be happy at the end.
But on the flip side, I love movies that are like that. Like
really?
movies that just have like open-ended
Open-end.
endings. I love it. Like, have you ever seen The Lobster?
No, what the hell is that?
Okay, so I watch a lot of A24 movies. Like, that company just makes great movies. I'm not afraid to dive into any of their movies. And they have this one called The Lobster, and it's about how people are set up with the love of their life because they have something in common. So this guy falls in love with this girl, but they didn't have anything in common. And then the girl, they both had glasses or something like that. I don't remember. But they fell in love with each other, and then like the leader of this group of people this is very loose. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff involved in this. She ends up getting taken to this doctor, and they make her blind. Well, in order for them to be in love, quote unquote, he would have to be blind because they took away what they had in common. You know what I mean? So he goes into the bathroom, and you see him with a fork in his hand, like gonna pop out his eyes or whatever.
Right.
And then it just goes back to her sitting there waiting for him at the restaurant, and then the credits roll.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
You know, Inception. Did the top fall or did the top keep spinning?
That was cool. Yeah.
Or when the bad guy wins.
And
I like that too.
Dang it. I don't know what happened.
I like that.
It's always good if you leave somebody wanting more. If you have something more to offer later, that's the hook you want.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
leave. But if you're not making another movie and you just like, let's just leave it like this. What are you doing, man?
Well, the movie that did that the worst to me was District 9. Have you seen that one?
And
Where he leaves to go back and get people so that he can take his people home or whatever because he realizes.
right.
I mean, I know how it ends.
And then
they just they didn't make it
Yeah.
into the next one.
Yeah, I don't know. I rewatched that again. I think it was early last year or something. But yeah, kind of the same. It just,
Great movie.
I don't know what to think about the ending of it.
It's just
But I
incomplete.
enjoyed the concept for sure. It was really well done. I
Yeah.
thought.
Well, that guy actually, I don't remember his name. You'd have to look him up, or people listening would have to look him up. But he did short films on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, dude, and they're so good. They are so good. It's like movie ideas that he has, and they're just like short little clips of things that he has, and he like hires these like D-list actors.
Damn, man, that's probably what I should do instead of trying to like wait around for a whole movie.
Yeah.
Because I have ideas and stuff. There was one that I had the other morning, just randomly, and it was like a couple of weeks ago now. So half asleep, I walk out into the kitchen towards the back door, and I would let Dahlia outside, and she'll go out there and do her business and come back in. I randomly thought when I open the door, she comes back in, and I'm half asleep, so I keep it kind of dark a little bit when I'm in there getting ready for work. And she goes back to the bedroom, whatever, goes to sleep. I randomly thought, what if there was some sort of movie or event or something that something was in the backyard that was like a shapeshifter
Yeah.
and either killed her or let her out of the fence and she's gone and took her shape, and I just let that thing in the house. So my scene was letting the dog out, dog comes back in, and as she's walking back away,
You see it.
I cut to her, and she turns back around and looks at me, and it's kind of a weird look, like unfamiliar, like something just seems off. Then you just shake it off, So she goes back, or the dog goes back to the bedroom, and spouse is in the bedroom or something, and then you go back in the bedroom, and it's like a murder scene, and
Yeah.
dog's gone because it wasn't the dog. And then I go back out and the back door, and she's still outside. Like the real dog is still outside. Kind of situation. You don't know what just happened. Front door's open. The thing got out, and I don't know. Something weird, but I felt like that could be a premise of something, like an opening scene to something, or just a scene itself.
I have a couple movie ideas, and I actually just remembered one of them. And actually, I had it like years and years ago, and I actually kind of like the memory of it. Kind of, do you ever feel heavy things, and when they hit you, and the realization hits you, it almost takes your breath away?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of. Like,
or just like a compressed chest feeling.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was giving me that. So, like, I had this movie idea. I won't go into great detail because I might make it one day. But the beginning scene that I see, I'll tell you that, is a camera following a person walking on a sidewalk with a backpack. And it has this, like, really kind of, whimsical music to it. And they're walking. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this girl comes out and, like, jumps into their arms. And they go into the apartment and they're like talking about like, oh, did you get it? Whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, And it flashes to this scene where he's like stuffing his backpack full of a whole bunch of like food and stuff like that from a gas station, and then he runs out, and the gas station attendant's like, hey, get back here, whatever. Yeah. So that's kind of like the opening scene for me for that one. And then another one is like a first-person serial killer movie, but he doesn't know what he's doing at all. He's completely clueless to it, and you have no idea he's doing it until the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a
split personality type of thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
And he just like clocks out. And when he clocks out in the movie, it's TV static.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's a cool synopsis.
Yeah,
or
he's a kindergarten teacher.
Plot. Oh.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah. It's kind of like I was thinking, I was like, what is a job that you wouldn't think of a serial killer having? It's like
yeah.
Kindergarten.
Everybody loves him.
Everybody loves him. Yeah. Everybody loves him, and like, yeah.
Mr. Hall, he's a great teacher.
But you get little senses of how insane he is, because like at one point he's like opening the fridge and he looks at his friend, and he's got like his pet rabbit. He looks at his friend, the rabbit's normal. He's like, hey, do you want a beer? And he's like, yeah. He looks back at the fridge and there's like bottles of beer, and he's like, hey, do you want this and this? And whenever he turns back around, this is just like out of focus.
Sure.
In the background, the rabbit's like skin on its head like pulled back, and he's like trying to like get at the person from the cage. Like Attack of the Cage. You don't hear it, you just see it off in the background. He just acts like nothing's wrong.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that. That would be really good.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Yeah. I have a name for it. It's called
We're gonna edit that out.
Person's name, but also
We'll edit that out.
Yeah.
Edit what out?
Yeah. What?
I need to get more ideas out. That's what I've been trying to do. I mean, this is really since I started doing the podcast. I'll try to come up with questions and topics and whatever, but it also inspires me to do my own things like that I want to talk about by myself, or things I just want to get out.
Yeah.
Or like I said, movie ideas, book ideas, blog ideas, something. I'm trying to get more stuff out of my head, because I feel like I think of a lot of things and
they just go away.
I'll do it. I'll tackle it later. I can't do it right now or something.
You start it and it just kind of like gets pushed to the side.
Fizzled away.
Yeah.
I have to get the general idea out just so I can see it again later and then get re-inspired, because I feel like that would happen. If I try to get too detailed too quick, then I get burnt out and I probably don't go back because it's already established kind of, and I don't know where to take it now. It's more just getting the general idea down so it can inspire something later when I have the time to sit down with it, instead of, while I'm at work or grocery store or something, I'm doing something already.
Yeah.
I can't just stop what I'm doing every time that I have a thought, Dreams too, it's so hard to wake up, like once I get up and realize, whoa, that was a fucked up dream, to make note of what just happened, because I won't remember later. I won't remember all the details, and I want to know, because don't you have that if you just woke up from a dream, you remember all the details even though they're weird as shit and make no sense?
Yeah.
And then later you miss some of those details, or you're trying to think of it again and you think, that doesn't make any sense, that must not be right, because that doesn't work.
But do you have dreams that you remember all of?
No. And a lot of them seem really long too, but
yeah,
I don't know, or short actually. When I'm remembering them, they're short, but in them, of course, they feel like real
forever.
life.
Yeah. I have one that I remember every single detail to, and like it was just something crazy. It was just insane. I was in a car driving, and the ground started to shake, and everybody was getting out of their cars, and I got out of my car, and you started hearing like. And I just like yelled, because we were like on a bridge and there was a ditch. And I was like, get out of the ditch. And everybody jumps into the ditch, and it was a shockwave. And it like breaks all the glass, it shoots all this dust everywhere. And I was like, man, what, I had a gun in my car. So I got this gun and I put it in my pocket, and like we were walking around trying to figure out what's going on. We're all dusty, like covered, like almost like ash.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out what's going on because we didn't see any explosions. Like there was no like mushroom cloud in the sky or anything like that. We were like, whoa, that was really weird. And I was like, okay, so something's crazy right now. Let's go. Let's get some supplies, just in case that this is crazier than we imagined. So we go into this store, and I'm like looking for something, and somebody goes in the back room, and we hear, ah! And I look up from the store's shelves. I look up, and the person's running out, and this like liquid shoots out from this back room and hits him all over his body, and he like melts into the ground. And I like hide, and you hear footsteps, like big footsteps. And I like turned around, and there was this thing. It was humanoid. It was stood up like a person, but it had this big like blister sack on its back, and it had like a breathing apparatus on its face. I kind of went to that, and it had like a gun that was a part of that sack too, and that's where the liquid was that it was shooting out. And then I shot that sack, and it died.
Nice.
And then I woke up. Yeah.
Dreams are weird, man.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Where do they come from?
DMT.
We talked about that this morning, too.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's some sort of, like, antenna that goes off whenever you're not awake anymore. It's like something like a beacon or something.
Yeah.
Something goes off and receives these images and movies and plays, and it gets all distorted because you don't know where it comes from. It doesn't make sense because it's not from your life. It's not from your real life happenings, or it can be based on that, or you're mixing it with a fictional story or something, but it's like radio waves or something they're just sending out to everybody.
That makes me also, I wonder what Wi-Fi and Bluetooth
does
and
to your brain.
Like all of it, just all of it. It's like, because they're waves. Waves are a thing.
I think about that when I put earbuds in.
Yeah.
Like, what are all these waves going through my brain?
Yeah, sound waves. I mean, like, they're very small physical things, but they're physical things. Like we can measure them.
That's what I was going to get to earlier. I forgot exactly what we were talking about. More along waking up the parts of your brain that you don't use, but seeing things. If you can only see what you can see. We can't see infrared. We can't see this and this and this with our eyes. So what if we had something in our brains that did that too, where it would alter what we could see, or we were able to switch on and off, like Predator style, where you can have different filters, and you could see things that no other person can see because you have that filter capability or something. And you can see spirits, you can see whatever. You can see parasites or something crazy.
I was thinking about like seeing all the waves in the air. I bet there's just so many waves going on at all times.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
the wave filter where you see every wave everywhere.
Ugh. That would make you nauseous, I'll bet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you probably pass out. Wow, that
yeah.
Look at all the waves.
Yeah. Because I bet we put out waves too, you know what I mean? Like you were saying. Our own little
auras.
Yeah. I mean,
another random thought I had was just like we have energy. We are energy.
Yeah.
What if ignore all the stuff that's inside of your body. Just imagine that your skin is like a balloon and it's just holding in energy.
Yeah.
Your energy. I was getting kind of crazy with it in my head, thinking, what if it's just like cool and warm, like blue and orange energy? If you're pissed off, you might get a little bit of red in there. I guess you could throw some red in there. And then I thought, well, what if you're just like a soulless piece of shit? Then you're probably full of black.
Blue or black or purple.
Well, I was thinking blue would be like cool, calm, So then I just kind of got all sorts of colors. But I'm just thinking of, if you're a calm blue walking into a place and you're dealing with somebody and they're full of red because they just got delivered some shitty, family member just died, or you approach that person and then you're blue, that energy
goes into
just
them.
Somehow you could infect them with your own blue energy, or they could infect you with their red energy. You can get pissed off because they're pissed off, or you might be able to give them more of a positive feeling just the same. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I was trying to think of exactly how to explain that, but I mean that's what was going on in my head. Just how we can affect one another with our energy. If you come in loud and obnoxious and upset into an environment when people are not that way, you make them that way.
Yeah.
It's I feel like that's easier to do than everyone else calming you down because you're so pissed off and you're elevated. You can't be calmed down. I feel like it's contagious.
It's very contagious. You know, whenever you're around people a lot, it becomes more of a thing because you know, just the way that you are, the way that you know, go out, they take it more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Wasn't that you that said that about your show? People coming together and enjoying stuff. Just
Yeah.
all different people. You know,
from everywhere.
We're just listening to music and enjoying it and laughing together and having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, some of those people that are in the same spot, moshing together or whatever, maybe they don't even know each other outside of
they're there.
that moment.
Yeah.
But in the Facebook world, next week they could be having a really shitty argument because they believe this and the other one believes this.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know each other. And then maybe you realize, oh, that's that dude I was moshing with last week. I thought he was cool. You know, and then you have a little bit different perspective. You're not so combative. You know, like, I guess he's not that bad of a guy. Maybe I'll just talk to him, you know, and you can have that connection. It's cool that you can have that connection. And I guess that's more of an example of how social media can destroy a physical relationship by something in text form that you don't really understand fully or you're interpreting wrong.
Yeah, on the flip side of that is, it's like you could have already an issue, and then when you're at the show, it just...
Yes.
Yeah, you know
correct,
what I mean?
Yeah.
It could...
You're that dude that was talking shit to me.
Yeah, you know, I think there are certain instances, you know, where, you know, fuck certain people for sure. But, you know, for the most part, you can just kind of like, you know, get in the mosh pit or just like sit there and enjoy. We're all enjoying one thing. We're all, you know, and meeting people from different places. Like, you know, that's my post was about just like, I know so many people from other states or other countries now, and it's all because of music.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think that that's really cool because there isn't much that can do that.
Definitely. Art in
yeah.
general, you know, something just particular thing that you enjoy, you know, people banding together. I mean, it's just like going to the movies and enjoying a movie together. That could be a shit show. Obviously, people just go there to get drunk and, you know, be obnoxious too. But watching a funny movie, man, if the whole place is laughing with you, it makes it that much more fun and funnier. Watching it by yourself, you'll laugh, but
not as much.
It won't be the same.
It's kind of like when you see something funny on your phone and the only thing you do is breathe out your nose.
But then you type LOL.
Yeah, LOL. LMAO.
Yeah. With the straight face. Laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
I only type LOL. I think I've typed LOL only in reference to someone else's quote. I don't think I've ever once used it. It's actually in my phone as a shortcut. LOL is a shortcut. No, it's a shortcut for ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Because I want to have more personality in my ha-has.
Do iPhones have swipe? Like you can just swipe
No,
your finger?
actually, I don't know if there's an app or something you can do now, but no, it doesn't come factory.
So with this, you know, you got swipe. So I'll just go LOL, just like
back and forth.
And it's like
scrubber.
There it is.
Yeah.
So you know I'm really laughing. Like,
yeah. If I do it 32 times, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
This has gone on for. Is this 186 minutes?
Yes. Yeah, I was about to actually say, hey, I probably need to go spend time with my family.
Yeah, it is Sunday fun day.
Yeah, because Candace texted me, laugh my ass off.
Was she? Was she smiling?
It was to the video of Ichabod.
What is she? I was gonna say, is she really LMAOing?
No, I was like, that could go either way. Just edit this part out. But I was like, that could go either way. Either she's like, laugh my ass off. You said you'd be home hours ago.
One thing I would suggest, if someone has been home for a while and you're coming home to them being home,
yeah,
make sure that you are 100% home and greet when you come home.
Oh yeah, that's something I always make sure to do.
Even if you're upset, I mean, like greet.
I'm bad about that.
That's what I mean. Greet and then deal with it however you need to deal with it, but at least greet in a positive manner, because I've seen...
That sets the tone.
Right. I've heard people say, when you come home, that's like my favorite time of the day. You know, I get to see you. You know, people that care for each other, legitimately care for each other, want to see each other and be with each other, and the other person comes home in a crappy mood, that's what they associate. Whenever I'm excited to see you, you're in a bad mood. And we can't seem to intertwine properly.
Right.
And I think that as little as it may seem, you know, when it happens, you know, it's like, just leave me alone. I'm upset, you know, or whatever. If that's not their fault, that's not their problem.
No, well, I mean, life is full of first impressions, and if you're with somebody and you live with somebody, and like, you know, Candace is home with the kids all the time, and if I come home, and I'll admit, she's probably, if you include this, she's probably going to listen to this and be like, when I come home, like, if I continuously would be positive, you know, which is something I do need to work on, then, you know, life is full of first impressions. Like, every day you come home to somebody, it's always a first impression as to how you are.
Right.
You know, it's a good thing to think on.
Yeah, especially because if you are in a bad mood, let's just say it was work related, from work to home,
Keep it
you
there.
need to concentrate on de-escalating what's going on in your head and your brain until you can deal with it later, or just forget about it. I have to emphasize, not bottle it up, filter it, compress, and let it be what it is.
Yeah.
Because if you can't control it, you can't fix it, you can't do anything while you're away, there's no sense in thinking about it. I mean, if you're planning something to fix later, sure. But if it's replaying something that just happened that upset you,
don't even.
Fuck, dude, don't. That's stupid. I mean,
I know.
I don't want to be so mean as that's stupid. But I mean, if you really think about it,
that's stupid.
You're just hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most exhausting and upsetting things that you do to yourself are dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. That's it.
But they're all running parallel to each other at the same time.
Oh, yeah. It's all the same. On that note, let's close.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, no problem. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
3 hours.
3 hours.
And 10 minutes.
Well, it'll be compressed.
Oh, okay.
With the breathing and anything we need to cut out.
Yeah.
Like saying bad words like poo-poo.
Poop.
Dolores! All right, man.
All right.
Peace.
Rusty's Escape Pod.